Welcome to the AJ Bell Stadium, home of Sale Sharks. The University of the Shoe and Terence Trent are not the only derby in town tonight. Sale Sharks take on Newcastle Falcons here live on Sale Sharks Live. I think they were better when you wrote them for me, Ollie, to be fair.
I think so. They were definitely better. I used to script them out and everything, and now you just go all over the place.
I ignored them then, and I'll probably ignore them now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sale Sharks Live. I'm here joined by Chris. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Evening, Colin. I enjoyed the reference to Terence Trent Derby. Easy for me to say.
He's still no idea who that is.
A bit old for me, I think.
Well, we'll teach you. Sign your name across my heart if you let me stay, amongst other things. Ollie's here as well. Ollie, how you doing?
Not bad, Colin. Yourself?
Good, actually, yeah, much good. I'm glad to be here, not my kitchen at home, actually. That's a big difference. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're at home right now, please send us your comments in above, below, wherever they are, on whatever social media platform you are watching on tonight. And particularly, we're interested in knowing where you are tonight. In fact, where are you in the world? I alluded to, I wonder if you're in Venice, I wonder if you're in Taiwan, or you're in Australia, Houston, Texas, especially if you're in Antarctic, doing some British surveying out there. We'd like to know if you're watching Sale Sharks and you're joining us here on Sale Sharks Live. So get your comments in if you've got any questions. We're joined a little bit later on by Will Cliff, who will be joining Chris in the commentary position. Ollie is going to be taking care of social media. I'm going to be taking care of stats and statistics because it's great. I love it. But particularly, let's talk about today's game. Newcastle Falcons, Chris. It's the local derby. It's weird.
Local-ish.
It's
the
weird,
northern derby, I guess, Colin. Yeah, it's always competitive when these two teams meet, and we know that from the second round of the season when Sale went up to Kingston Park and got beaten in the last minute. Toby Flood scoring that try. It was a scrappy game, so Sale will be keen to rectify that tonight. Newcastle, of course, made a great start to the season. They're sitting 6th at the moment, Sale in 4th. But an interesting comment from Dean Richards, the DOR at Newcastle in midweek, who said these are the sort of games we've got to be winning if we're going to be serious top 4 contenders. So they've clearly come here with a positive mindset and have a view they can win the game. None of the usual, it's going to be a tough game type wallpaper that we read sometimes in press releases. So I'm sure Dean Richards is going to send his side out tonight looking for that win. Sale, though, at home, buoyed by that victory over Exeter last week, will be confident that they can add another win tonight.
Ollie, there's nothing like two teams with a taste for victory, really, and I think that's what we've got on the cards for tonight, haven't we?
Oh, well, definitely, Colin. Last week, Sale beat Exeter, and we've seen tonight Alex Sanderson hasn't changed much of that side. 13 of the team that started last week in that win are playing tonight for Sale. A couple of weeks ago, when Sale were playing Bath, they just beaten Bristol, and he made wholesale changes. Not tonight. He said in the press in the week as well, he made too many changes in that game, and a totally different scenario tonight, and I am expecting a good Sale performance.
Absolutely. Change captain as well today. Chris, what's going on?
Yeah, John O'Ross suspended tonight, Colin. 3 yellow cards for him, and that led to an RFU panel this week, and John O'Ross took a 1-game suspension from that, so we assume he'll be back in for the trip to Northampton. But yeah, that means a change with the armband. Faf de Klerk has captained the side earlier this season. He's used to doing that, and as a World Cup winner, he's not going to struggle for respect in the dressing room, so I'm sure he'll be very happy in that role. John O'Ross, though, is always a huge presence when he's not in the Sale side. It tends to be obvious. Cobus Visa comes back in at blindside. He has impressed, of course, since he arrived towards the end of last season. So a good replacement, but Jono's always going to be a loss in that back row.
I mean, you say suspension, I say well-deserved rest. You know what I mean? You've got to take your breaks when you can get them. Chris, Ollie, I'm actually going to come to you. Let's actually start with the matchups. I do it all the time. I do it every week. I do it every time. 9-10. Who wants to take a look at that?
Yeah, I can look at that one. And so de Klerk is going to be up against Louis Schroeder there. And Schroeder is an experienced scrummer. He's 6 foot tall from Paarl in South Africa. Huge amounts of Super Rugby experience back home. These two will have played against each other in South African domestic rugby plenty of times. And he's also played for Toulon in France. So Schroeder's a really decent 9. That will be an intriguing battle. AJ McGinty at 10 for Sale's in really good nick at the moment. Unlucky not to have a couple of tries to his name last week. And he's kicking well as well. And up against him, Brett Connon, who is the Newcastle fly half. No Toby Flood for Newcastle tonight. He's out with a knee injury. But Connon's a decent 10. He's got experience with Ireland under-20s, and that'll be McGinty's opponent. So 2 Irishmen in the 10 shirts tonight.
Ollie, let's take a look at the centres now. I love linking into the centres and the wings. Tell us a little about the matchup today. Sam and Sam.
Well, they've developed the start of a partnership, haven't they, Colin? Sam Hill, Sam James, they've started pretty much every game bar one together since Alex Sanderson came in as director of rugby, and they're going well. A lot of people were concerned when Rohan Janssen van Rensburg went out injured, but Sam Hill stepped up to the plate. On the Newcastle side, you've got Lufa Burrell, England international, just back from playing rugby league, and Mateus Orlando, the Argentinian international, played in that famous win against New Zealand at the back end of last year. So that's going to be a really interesting battle there tonight, and I do think it's one of Newcastle's stronger areas.
And then out on the wings and in the 15 position, Chris.
Yeah, Ben Stevenson on the left wing for Newcastle has been getting some rave reviews this season. He's going to be up against Byron McGuigan on the right for Sale tonight. But Stevenson's got pace. He's scored 3 tries so far this season. He's really promising. We heard from Simon Hammersley on Sharks Live earlier this season when Newcastle had made such a good start, and he particularly picked out Stevenson and Adam Radwan. Now, Radwan would normally play on the right wing for Newcastle. He's got an injury tonight. He's out with a knee problem. So he steps away, and a debutant on the right wing for Newcastle, which gives an opportunity perhaps for Sale to take advantage, and of course Marlon Yard will be ready to try and do just that. So, but it's an opportunity for Carreras, the Argentinian sevens wing, who's got his first start tonight for Newcastle. He'll be keen to impress, having come off the bench against Harlequins last week.
So I'm just checking out the warm-up here. It's actually looking really good today. There's a difference. There's a really good energy to the warm-up this time. Look at the size of him. Seeing Lude there on the warm-up. I mean, that was a great result. Great pace, great metres gained by Lude last week. Particularly looking at the stats, I'd like to see those kind of repeated. It'd be interesting to see. Ollie, let's take a look at those 1 to 5s in the front row and into number 5.
Well, Lude was exceptional last week, wasn't he, Colin? Man of the match performance, World Cup winner. We probably should have seen it coming, but he was everywhere all over the park, as was someone like Bevan Rod, probably one of the best young loose heads in English rugby right now, and he, along with Curtis Langdon, is really impressing in that front row. Langdon scored the winning try last week, and I don't think it's down to inexperience. You know, they're an experienced pair now. They've played most of this season and last season as well, but they're playing well.
Now we're going to talk about the breakdown afterwards a little bit later. We're going to talk about the speed, reload to feed, penalties, all that we saw last week. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But before we do, obviously we want your comments as well as always your questions. But also we've been following the women's side quite regularly here on Sharks Live as well. And we were at the game last week at the Corpac Stadium to see them play against Quins. I did my homework. I was watching. And we've got a special guest, Georgie Perez-Redding, is going to join us. But before she does, we're going to take a look at the highlights of last week.
We'll be desperate not to have a knock on. Great work from Irwin, pops it back inside, taking Quins into the Sale 22. Could be an overlap wide here. Opportunity for Jess Breach. Always takes some tackling and terrific Sale cover. Roberts again digs that one out. Daly McLean with one of those trademark kicks over the top and manages to find its intended destination. Lisa Newman once more offering a threat into the line. Now then, here's a chance for Leanne Riley. Decent burst from Riley. Trouble here. Can Sale scramble back just short, and that's going to be the first try of the afternoon. Daly McLean. Up goes the up and under. Lisa Newman in pursuit. Great tackle from Newman. And before another one, Georgie Perez-Redding's another option too. Now then, Sale working a quick throw to the front, and is this an opportunity to find their way through? Sale held up just short. There goes El Blore. Blore making a decent break. Still going Blore. Real opportunity here for Quins. And is she over? Yes, she is. Shauna Brown continuing that move in the midfield. Mew. Great tackle when it needed to be made by Laura Perrin to Fee Fletcher. Open side flanker for Quins this afternoon. Fair old pile up there and really good work from Sale defensively. Riley's opportunity to set up the attack ultimately though comes to nothing. More great work on the floor at the breakdown. Now then, Quins have got an opportunity here, and there's a real opportunity for Jess Breach, which she's not going to miss. And once more, Jess Breach out of nowhere. Powerful driving maul. Trouble here for Sale. Are Quins going to be able to get this down? They've got over the line. Have they got the grounding? Yes, they have. Digging that ball out for Sale. Not the best pass, but great take from Katie Daly McLean, who manages to move the ball onwards, and good burst through the middle from Georgie Perez-Redding. Breaks the initial gain line. Alicia Carlton trying to bring in Caris Hall. Can Sale take an opportunity? Caris Hall. Hall just short. Caris Hall burrowing forward. Beth Stafford. Stafford from close range, trying to drive her way over. A metre short, the Sale skipper. Daly McLean goes herself. Daly McLean gets there. And there's the try that Sale really earned this afternoon.
A well-deserved try there at the end of that montage, and hopefully joining us from home is Georgie Perisrelli. Georgie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
There you go. Are you nice and warm, Georgie?
I am, yes, warmer than you.
So listen, look, we've been watching the women's game quite a lot recently. Scorelines don't reflect the effort and the tremendous growth that the women's side has been portraying this season. There's been some fantastic things. Nice little break in the middle there, Georgie. You're smashing it through. Nice to see you. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean, it's fab. It's really good to be playing, and we all know how lucky we are, especially in these times, to be out there. So, I mean, yeah, tough game, but there's real positives to take from it.
Georgie, I'm going to pass you over to Ollie. Ollie's got a question for you.
Hi, Georgie. Obviously, you're playing your former side, Worcester, on Sunday. What kind of challenge you're expecting from them, considering it's the one win that we've already had this season?
Yeah, I think Worcester, they've also had a tough season with results, and I think their results don't necessarily reflect how they've played. So I think they're gunning for this game. They're ready. They're a physical side as well. So I think it's going to be a big clash, that's for sure.
Chris.
Yeah, Georgie, tonight and all weekend this weekend, the Premiership men's programme is dedicated to community rugby and the work of everyone who supports. I think it's around 250,000 people through the outreach programmes that happen from all the Premiership clubs. Now, you work for the Sale Sharks Community Trust. Perhaps you could just talk to us a little bit about one of the programmes you're involved with and how it impacts people in the local area to Sale.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many projects that I could talk about. I mean, what the Trust do, it really is fantastic. I mean, a big one at the moment for us is Project Rugby, and that taking rugby to those that don't necessarily have the opportunity that we would have, from deprived backgrounds. And we encourage those to get involved in rugby and give them the opportunity to take it further, and that's a fabulous initiative in partnership with Premiership Rugby and Gallagher. So yeah, that's in full swing, online at the moment, but hoping to be back face to face very soon when lockdown restrictions ease.
And of course, it's the first season of the Sale Sharks women this year. Initiatives from the Community Trust, I guess, can only help spread the word about rugby and help potentially grow that player base in the local area to build a stronger squad year on year for Sale.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, now the plate's set, we've got fantastic players to inspire the younger generation coming through. And I think now, as you say, years ago when I was a young girl, I didn't have that many role models to look up to. And I think, Sale Sharks Women now can be a huge platform for these younger players coming through, and can really get more girls involved in the game and get a really strong squad as we build.
Georgie, Sunday you're away to Worcester, I believe. That's a place you know very well. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to expect on Sunday as you travel down the M6 and down the M5.
Yeah, I think, as said, I think it's going to be a really tough game, but, we've got to be clinical and we have to go out there, and we've worked really hard on our shape and who we are as a team. And I think if we go out there, play with passion and play for each other and, stick to what we know and our game plan, I think we could come away with a good result.
Georgie, the development of the Sale Sharks women over the course of the season has been fantastic, and it obviously comes from grassroots and stuff, and you're very, like you've been talking about before, very keen. It's what you do. It's really good what you do as well. What's your hopes for the growth of the women's side, particularly? What is the plan post pandemic when we can get out and about with everybody and stuff like that? What's the big hope for Sale Sharks community, grassroots feeding the women's game? What's the big hope?
I think for us, it's, we say if you can't see it, you can't be it. So for us, it's going into, community clubs and showing these girls that actually you can play rugby, and, there's not a stereotype anymore, and rugby really is for everybody. So I think as soon as we can, we want to get back out there, get our players involved with local clubs and, show these girls that this is a sport for them.
Brilliant. Georgie, thank you very much. Good luck on Sunday. Smash it. You've got at least to get 3 line breaks, and a little pass behind the back. If you haven't done that, it's not worth the travel. But listen, I'm sure you're going to smash it on Sunday. You're going to be amazing.
Just for you, Colin.
Thank you I'm very humbled. Thank you. But listen, absolutely love having you on the show. Good luck Sunday to all the Sale Sharks women. Thank you, Georgie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem, thank you. And talking about the women's side, we're going to carry on about the competition that we ran last week and modelled beautifully by Ollie, who's going to do this. We've actually rehearsed this so he doesn't get it wrong, but we'll see if he can do it. Chris, tell us a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah, so what Ollie's showing you there, folks, is a signed Sale Sharks Women away shirt, signed by the entire squad, and you're going to have the opportunity to win that at half-time tonight. So we did have a competition for the Sale Sharks match against Harlequins last week. There were a couple of people who got the question right, but we know we had a slight technical glitch when we were talking about it, so those people will be entered into the competition tonight. So Lauren Baker and James Booth, you don't need to enter, we've got your names in the hat, but everyone else who's listening tonight to Sharks Live, listen at half time, there'll be a question and you can answer in the chat whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, and then we will do a draw at the end of the game and tell you which of you are the lucky recipient of a signed Sale Sharks women's shirt. So listen at half time and good luck.
Okay, I've forgot my readers, okay, but I'm going to give this a go. James Russell, new Sale fan here. Hello James, thank you for joining us on Sale Sharks Live. Been a rugby league fan all my life, but decided to give it a go. Okay, James, we'll try our best and we'll try and give you as much information as we can, especially with the stats. It's going to be very interesting to see that. Watching Sale week in, week out, and we'll certainly be getting to the AJ Bell time when the time comes. And you're absolutely right, James. And everybody there at home, we miss you dearly. I definitely miss running around the fans during the game, during the pre-match stuff, getting in amongst it all. I do miss it.
It's exactly a year, Colin, tomorrow since fans were last here. 6th of March against London Irish was the last time fans were here. It's incredible to think it's a year since we've had the turnstiles clicking.
That is incredible. Do you know what? That didn't even cross my mind there. That's a whole year that we've not been with you. That is terrible. I knew I was missing you loads. Trevor Bailey at home on Stoke-on-Trent. Looking forward to the game. Predicting a 30 points to 25 win. If you agree with Trevor, or you disagree with Trevor, or you kind of agree with Trevor, don't listen, get your comments in. We want to know your score predictions. James Booth, can you say happy birthday to Steph Collinson, please? She's in charge of the Air Cadet team who carry the flag on the pitch before the game and would be celebrating at the AJ Bell tonight as normally. Thank you, Carrie. Comments, get them in. We want to hear from you. What we are going to talk about now, though, is the breakdown 6, 7, and 8. Chris, tell us how important that's going to be, or is it Ollie? Who's done the most?
I can talk about the breakdown, Colin.
Go for it.
So no John O'Ross tonight, as we've said. So responsibility moves to Cobus Visa, and on the open side, Cam Neill moves to the bench. Young Sam Dugdale comes in for a start. Now he's impressed in the limited time that we've seen him over the last few weeks. Young open side flanker, dynamic at the breakdown, and Dan Dupree alongside them as ever in the back row. Now for Newcastle, they've got injuries there. So Sean Robinson and Phil van der Vaalt would normally play 6 and 7. They're both out. John Hardy though comes in. Lots of international experience with Scotland. He'll play on the open side. Rob Farah, a young academy prospect, on the blind. And then number 8 is their skipper, Callum Chick, who came back from injury last week. So he's working his way back from injury. But it's an important battle at the breakdown, and I think it will go a long way to seeing who's got a platform to work from tonight, Colin.
So listen, before we start talking about discipline and all that sort of stuff and key moments there, we're going to take a little look at a quiz that was which was filmed a couple of weeks ago, I think it was now, with one of our sponsors, Franklin Financial. Today's game is sponsored by C&C Insurance, so make sure you give them a look in. It helps us if you get in and you take a look at their website, so please give it a go. Just one click, that's all we need to take a look at that. But in the meantime, let's take a look at this financial quiz.
From April 2021, what will be the national hourly minimum wage in the UK for 18 to 20-year-olds?
What, you don't even know the answer, do you?
£6.56. If Mark Cueto had a spare £20, what would he spend it on?
That's what you should have spent it on.
What date is tax year end this year?
What did you go for? B, mate.
B.
Fifth. Oh, what did you go for? What was yours?
6.
How much money do you have to earn now before you have to pay taxes in the UK?
Oh, come on.
What? I just said C2.
I just saw a little glance coming over there.
Did you have a look?
He had a look. He had a look. It's on camera. He had a glance.
He did.
What year were real gold coins used until in UK?
Okay. What was the answer?
1931.
How many points have Sale Sharks scored this season?
Right, we can work this out.
Oh, time penalty. They're taking too long.
I don't remember what's been going on, so.
If we were to give you 1p, doubling every day for 30 days, how much would it make you?
Quick math.
Mate, you've got no way you worked that out. You guessed me.
Mate, you're not seeing with
Rain
my
Man
fingers. I
ball.
was...
What was that, 5 million?
1, 2, 4. Keeps going.
To what? What was your answer?
B.
What age do studies show that money habits are set back?
I've had a
showing.
thought.
Sweets.
Sweets.
Yes. What age was that? Yeah, that's what we thought.
How many tackles has Jono made in the Premiership this season?
We obviously think too highly of him.
Well played.
Well done. Well done. Really well done.
Well done. We all know our stuff.
Well done. Well done, Will.
Perfectly balanced quiz.
What's the prize?
Yeah.
First trophy of the season in the bag.
What's the prize?
Okay.
Newcastle Falcons and the backs. Number 15, Tom Penny. Number 14, Mateo Carreras. Number 13, Matias Orlando. Number 12, Luther Burrell. Number 11, Ben Stevenson. Number 10, Brett Connon. And number 9, Louis Schroeder. And the forwards tonight for Newcastle Falcons. Number 1, Trevor Davison. Number 2, George McGuigan. Number 3, Lagovi Mulipola. Number 4, Greg Peterson. Number 5, Marco Fusa. Number 6, Rob Farrer. Number 7, John Hardy. And number 8, the captain, Callum Chick. And the substitute for Falcons this evening, number 16, Jamie Bullmeyer. Number 17, Adam Brocklebank. Number 18, Mark Tampin. Number 19, Darren Barry. Number 20, Connor Collett. Number 21, Michael Young. Number 22, Joel Matavesi. And number 23, Alex Tate. And for Sale Sharks this evening, the backs, number 15, Luke James. Number 14, Byron McGuigan. Number 13, Sam James. Number 12, Sam Hill. Number 11, Marlon Yard. Number 10, AJ McGinty. Number 9, the captain this evening, Faf de Klerk. And the forwards for Sale Sharks, number 1, Bevan Rodd. Number 2, Curtis Langdon. Number 3, Will Griff John. Number 4, Josh Beaumont. Number 5, Lou Diega. Number 6, Cobus Visa. Number 7, Sam Dugdale. And number 8, Dan DePria. And the substitutes for Sharks tonight, number 16, Aka van der Merwe. Number 17, Ross Harrison. Number 18, Coney Eusthausen. Number 19, JP DePria. Number 20, Cam Neild. Number 21, Rafi Quirk. Number 22, Rob DePria. And number 23, Simon Hammersley. And tonight's referee is Andrew Jackson.
There we go, Ollie. That looks absolutely fantastic as a team goes. Very excited. Just a couple of shout outs. Not long before we'll be watching from the terraces. Good luck to everybody tonight. That's from Howard Copenhall. Sean Philip Merrick. Can't wait to get to the AJ Bell Stadium and meet all my Chelsea Sharks players. Yeah, that's the one. Great interview with the fantastic young lady who does so much for the region for rugby, Georgie Lily Peris Redding. Obviously, I think that might be her mother. No, that's Kev. Kev said hello as well. And there's loads more that Carrie's going to sort me out. Ollie, the rest of the Premiership, who else is playing tonight?
Well, there's 6 games this weekend tonight. London Irish are playing Northampton. Tomorrow, Worcester are playing Bristol. So there's some important games going on. And is the halfway point of the season. 11 rounds gone so far. Bristol top, and then Gloucester and Worcester a little bit adrift at the bottom. But in the middle, everyone's really tight. They're really close up. A win can take you up 2 or 3 places, and a loss can drop you down 2 or 3 places. Tonight, if Sale win, they'll go second. If they lose, they could end the weekend in 7th. So there's a lot on the game tonight, but it's that close. One win here or there can really affect your position.
Last season as well, we were talking about how important a bonus point was as well. And it was the same. That losing bonus point, if you travel up here and you leave with a losing bonus point, could be really good for the Falcons today, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A couple of years ago, Sale's away losing bonus point record wasn't very good, but last year it was much better, and Sale have got a few losing bonus points on the road so far this year. So if you can pick up those little points here or there, is really, really important. And come the end of the season, if you've got 6 or 7 losing bonus points on the road, it can build up, and by the end of the season, you've got those extra points in place.
So I actually remember, I can't even remember what exact season, but a few seasons ago, no, it seems like yesterday, but it was probably a longer time ago, going down to London Welsh, it was a critical game to win, and sometimes it comes down to that, and we must remember where Sale Sharks have been sometimes to get themselves through that. Today, it's a really great opportunity to leave with points and put that pressure on the rest of that Gallagher Premiership.
Well, if Sale can win tonight, it puts the pressure on the teams below them to move up to second. I think Alex Sanderson would have taken that when he took over a couple of months ago to bring Sale up into that top 4 who were sort of lingering there earlier in the season. So a win tonight, go second, put the pressure on the other teams and put your feet up for the rest of the weekend.
So listen, if you are at home, make sure you get your comments in, score predictions, tell us what you think about the game, tell us where you think we're winning it, where we're losing it, what we could be doing better. I'll be on the stats, keeping an eye on that. And I'm going to hand you over now to Chris. Tell us, Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Ollie. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Sharks live commentary, round 12 in the Gallagher Premiership. Sale Sharks squaring up to the Newcastle Falcons here on a decent night for rugby at the AJ Bell. The pitch in good condition, no real wind and thankfully no rain. And Alex Sanderson can look down as his early time as the Sale Sharks director of rugby continues. It's been a bit of a roller coaster for him so far. 2 wins to start, then a couple of defeats, but right back on it with that nail-biting victory last time out here last Friday against the Exeter Chiefs, as his side hung on at the death to secure 4 points. Sale could go second tonight with victory, but it will come up against a Newcastle Falcons side who've been highly competitive this season under Dean Richards. On their return to the Premiership, many thought they might be the whipping boys down there with the Worcesters and the Gloucesters, perhaps fighting to stave off bottom position. It's not been that way at all. Newcastle leading the Premiership in the early rounds and starting this evening in 6th place. Tom Penny will start at fullback for the visitors tonight. Mateo Carreras on his debut will be on the right wing. Ben Stevenson on the left. Matthias Orlando, the Argentinian international centre, is paired with former England man Luther Burrell in the middle of the midfield. At half-back, it's Louis Schroeder, the experienced South African 9, alongside Brett Connon. In the pack, Trevor Davison and Logo Mulipola will pack down alongside George McGuigan at hooker. USA second row, Greg Peterson and Marco Fusa are together in the engine room. Rob Farah and John Hardy are at flank forward, with Callum Chick, their skipper, at number 8. For Sale, just 2 changes from the team victorious last Friday night. Jono Ross is suspended, so Cobus Visa comes back in at blindside flanker. Sam Dugdale is preferred to Cameron Neild, who is a replacement. It's an unchanged back line, which will line up like this. Luke James at fullback. Byron McGuigan, try-scorer last week, on the right wing. Marlon Yard, with 4 to his name this season, on the left. Sam Hill starts at inside centre for the 10th time in the last 11 games. Sam James is outside him at number 13. Faf de Klerk skippers the Sharks tonight from scrum half. AJ McGinty, as ever, is at number 10 as he looks to add to the 110 points that he's accumulated thus far this season in the Premiership. Bevan Rodd, Curtis Langdon and Will Griff-John are an unchanged front row. Rodd and Langdon both on the score sheet last Friday. Beaumont and Diago once more are in the second row, and it's Visa, Dugdale and Daniel Dupree who are in the back row. Aka van der Merwe returns to the bench after a shoulder injury. He's the replacement hooker. Ross Harrison, Cooney Oosthuizen, JP Dupree, Cameron Neild, Rafi Quirk, Rob Dupree and Simon Hammersley complete the Sale bench. For Newcastle, Jamie Blameyer, Adam Brooklebank, Mark Tampin, Darren Barry, Connor Collett, Michael Young, their replacement scrum half, Joel Matavesi and Alex Tate, their experienced fullback, complete the 23. Andrew Jackson is the man on the whistle tonight. Newcastle are in their change kit of all white with a central grey and green band around the middle. Sale, as ever, are in all dark blue. We're underway then at the AJ Bell. Brett Connon getting proceedings underway and Josh Beaumont making a good catch. Sale going from right to left as myself and Ollie Lathrope look out from the main stand at the AJ Bell in this first half. And Faf de Klerk waits at the bottom of the first ruck of the night and launches the ball up the right touchline. It'll be a line out just inside Sale territory, and it's a very good evening to Ollie Lathrope.
Good evening, Chris. Very much looking forward to this one. Two sides coming off the back of wins last week. Sale obviously getting that victory over Exeter, and what a game it was. What a performance from the Sharks, and a really good chance tonight to build on that.
First line out of the evening then. George McGuigan, former England Saxons man, goes deep and makes a mess of that line out, and Faf de Klerk says thank you very much and collects it at the back, kicks forward, and there's a chance straight away to put some pressure as de Klerk charges into Ben Stevenson, the winger managing to clear that. But de Klerk, Ollie, well, he made a really bright start to the game last week and he's done just the same this week.
Definitely, Chris. When we were on commentary with Ben Curry last week, he said as a forward, you never quite know what Faf de Klerk's going to do, and we saw there bursting out of the line, putting that kick in and pinning Newcastle back inside their own 22.
So first throw of the night for Curtis Langdon, becoming established as Sale's hooker. Looking for Lou Diaga or possibly Josh Beaumont. To the front it goes. It's an easy claim for Diaga, so impressive last Friday. And Langdon at the back of this driving maul can tuck the ball under his armpit and get the support of 7 dark-shirted men in front of him. And he now elects to go back to de Klerk, who feeds the ball short, and an opportunity up the middle for Sam Hill to make a yard or two. De Klerk popping it short once more, and Dan Dupria driving into the 22. Sale. De Klerk very central, pops it short to Wilgriff John. Now Diaga continuing the move. This is a really solid start from Sale. De Klerk this time goes wide to Marlon Yard. He's yarded at the corner. Yes, he is. What a start for Sale Sharks. It was simple. It was effective. It was Marlon Yard's 5th try of the season. There will be a TMO check to ensure Yard didn't put his foot in touch, but Ollie Lathrope, assuming that he didn't, what a start for the Sharks inside the first 2 minutes.
What a brilliant start, as you said, Chris. That pass from Faf de Klerk was absolutely fantastic, and Marlon Yard still had quite a lot to do there, and we're just checking this now. It was given as a try on the field, so there has to be sufficient evidence to overturn this, and we're just looking at that foot in touch, and Marlon Yard has got that one down, I think, just about, and I think Sale might have an early lead here, but we are still checking it.
It's very tight, isn't it? What the TMO is looking at here, Trevor Fisher, is the point at which Yard's left boot touched the whitewash. And did it touch the whitewash as the challenge came in from Tom Penny before the ball was grounded? Oh, it's really, really tight. Millimetres in this one. It would seem a harsh overturn if that gets overturned. No, Trevor Fisher is happy with the on-field decision from Andrew Jackson, and that is for a try. And Sale Sharks are off and running with 5 points inside the first 3 minutes. It's Sale Sharks 5, Newcastle Falcons 0.
Well, Alex Sanderson would have asked for a big start from his side. They did so well brilliantly against Exeter last week with that Byron McGuigan score, and they've done so again here. Marlon Yard going up that left-hand wing, and it was very, very close. And as you said, Trevor Fisher had to spend a bit of time checking that one, but Yard just about got the ball down, and it's gone over for his 5th try of the season. And what a start.
AJ McGinty then, from just 6 inches or so inside the left-hand touchline. 15 conversions to his name this season. Can this be a 16th? It's a still night inside the AJ Bell. McGinty then launches this one. Looks a good connection. Looks a very good connection, and it's there. Excellent conversion from AJ McGinty. Gets Sale off to the perfect start here at the AJ Bell, converting Marlon Yard's try. It's Sale Sharks 7, Newcastle 0, and we've only been playing for 4 minutes.
Breathless, hasn't it, Chris? And Sale will be absolutely delighted with that. And there's an early blood replacement here. Sam Hill off and Rob Dupria on, so a slight reshuffle in that back line.
Back underway we go. AJ McGinty claims the restart. V's waits at the bottom of the ruck. Cobras Visa popping it short, and Newcastle haven't had the ball yet in the first 4 minutes. Sale taking full advantage. It all came from the overthrown Newcastle line-out in the opening seconds of the match, where Faf de Klerk spotted the opportunity and then kicked downfield, put pressure on Ben Stevenson. He was forced to slice the ball into touch, and from the line-out, Curtis Langdon found Lou Diaga, and Sale's handling as they went through 3 or 4 phases was immaculate, and ultimately Marlon Yard was able to finish. Great execution then from the Sharks, and they get off to the perfect start in this game. We'll keep an eye, as Ollie says, on the blood replacement. Rob Dupree on at inside centre for Sam Hill, place where he has appeared this season. Dupree is this time McGuigan manages to successfully execute the line out for Newcastle. John Hardy continuing play over the 10-metre line and starting to get Newcastle moving. Here's the powerful prop, Mulipola, the 33-year-old Samoan, just breaking a tackle. Newcastle get ball in hand in this move for the first time. Tom Penny finding Ben Stevenson. Stevenson cutting inside and getting support from Rob Farrer, the flank forward. Just inside Sale territory, the Falcons start to try and compose something here. Connon at outside half finds a long pass out to Callum Chick, but that is thrown forward very ambitiously from Matthias Orlando's long ball out to his skipper, and Andrew Jackson pulls play back for a Sale scrum 5 yards inside the Newcastle half.
Luther Burrell probably guilty there, Chris, of slightly overplaying. I'm not sure that long pass was required. And just while you've got me here, Chris, our first social update of the night. Carol Lund says, gin poured, sitting in the warmth of our front room in Woodsmoor, but missing the evening chill of the AJ Bell. Come on, boys, looking forward to a win.
I know what she means by the evening chill, Ollie. It's kind of what we all go to rugby for, though, isn't it? It's just that nice feeling of being wrapped up on a chilly night and either having a beer in hand or a warm coffee. You don't mind the chill if you're sitting here watching top-class Premiership rugby, and we're very privileged that we've still been able to be here and to bring this commentary to you during the period of lockdown when no fans are inside the stadium. If you were joining our pre-match discussion, you'll know it's a year to the day tomorrow since fans last clicked through the turnstiles here in the victory over London Irish. A year that seems to have gone so slowly, yet at the same time has raced past. Hasn't it been a weird old time? But great to see that there are plans afoot to get fans back in stadia, and we very much hope for the Bristol game in late May. That might be the first time that at least a proportion of the seats in this stadium and the standing positions as well can be taken. And so we look forward to that day very much indeed. Reset scrum just inside Newcastle territory. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, good evening to you from Ollie Lathrope and myself, Chris Malaband. What you've missed is an early try by Marlon Yard, executing a nice sail back move with a flat pass from Faf de Klerk, putting the left winger in the corner. And Sale off to a really good start against the Falcons. Could go second tonight with a win. The home side as de Klerk waits at the bottom of a scrum which had started to collapse. Referee Jackson happy to keep play going though as James finds Yard and Yard finds McGuigan wide on the right. Sale 10 metres or so inside Newcastle territory. Dan Dupree driving forward from 8, but the ball's been spilt in contact and there's a chance for Louis Schroeder to kick downfield. That's going to go in the in-goal area, is it? The ball just holding up right on the goal line, and Sam James has got to play it. And James launches that trusty left foot at that and smacks that ball downfield into touch. 5 metres inside the Sale half, and charging back, Logo Mulipola takes play just outside the Sale 22. Newcastle playing with plenty of intent now, as Burrell is on the ball once again in midfield. He's turned over by a combination of Rob Dupree and Lou Diaga. Newcastle, though, can recycle again through scrum half Schroeder. Schroeder up against Faf de Klerk tonight, that have played against each other many times in South African domestic rugby. And Connon's kick goes deep and is fielded by Luke James, who keeps a cool head and hands inside to Marlon Yard, who decides enough's enough and launches the ball right-footed into touch, and it's going to be a Newcastle line out halfway inside the Sale half, and we've played 8.5 minutes.
I think Newcastle will be happy with that, Chris. Yard's kick was a decent one, but it didn't quite get the distance on it. And after an initial good kick from Conan to ping Luke James back, and Newcastle have got the opportunity to set up their first real attacking platform of the game, a line outside just the 22. So George McGuigan with an opportunity.
McGuigan, formerly of Leicester, co-captain of the club in his second spell, goes very deep into the line and manages to find Greg Peterson, the American international, second row. Schroeder digs that out from the bottom of the ruck and finds Conan. And now Newcastle starting to put a few phases together here, and Sale having to work hard defensively to maintain the line. Callum Chick drives on from number 8. Still though, Sale managing to keep the Newcastle attack lateral. No real gain of territory thus far from the Falcons as they try again to forge a way through the middle. Schroeder popped short. Again, the Sale defence in midfield is decent. Sale not committing too many to the breakdown, keeping men out to try and fan across the pitch and give no space for Newcastle to really attack. Schroeder to Burrell. Interception though, and Sale are able to gather possession back through Byron McGuigan. Bevan Rodd is in to assist. Will Griff John as well. Sam James in at Ursat scrum half, with Faf de Klerk away from the action for a moment. Now AJ McGinty goes in as de Klerk is back up on his feet and returning to his usual post. De Jager making a yard or two as Sale move up to the halfway line, and we move past 10 minutes. Sale Sharks 7, Newcastle Falcons 0. De Klerk with the Gary Owen. Chance for Byron McGuigan to put pressure on Tom Penny, but Penny super solid under that high ball and releases Ben Stevenson, who had very little space but certainly made a couple of yards and is able to give Newcastle a little bit of momentum, but ultimately the ball is spilt, comes last off Curtis Langdon, and it will be a Newcastle line out 10 metres or so inside their own half as Sam Hill returns and Rob Dupree, his blood replacement, comes off.
Slightly scrappy that, Chris, wasn't it? Both sides having a bit of the ball but not really doing much with it. That knock-on from Dan Dupree earlier in the phase and eventually has ended up with a Newcastle line-out, in Sale not quite finding the consistency they did in those first 5 minutes, and Newcastle with the opportunity here.
McGuigan's throw again is overthrown. Second time that's happened tonight as Brett Conlon has to deal with broken ball at the back of the line-out. Newcastle, though, doing well to maintain possession, and Schroeder manages to keep the ball short again and keep some momentum. Schroeder, former Cell Sea Sharks man, alongside the Duprees and Cooney Oosthuizen and Akke van der Merwe when they were all Cell Sea Sharks. I'm sure there'll be plenty of catching up post-match tonight, but not a whisper of it during the 80 minutes of play, I'm sure, as Yard picks up possession for Sale, cuts inside and finds the busy Lou de Jager, as prominent in the loose so far tonight as he was last Friday, and a penalty given against Newcastle at the breakdown. Callum Chick is penalised, and the first penalty of the night goes Sale's way, and will give Sam James the opportunity to thump the ball downfield.
Another game in the Premiership tonight. Leicester playing London Irish at Welford Road, and as the visitors with a 10-3 lead, all the points scored by Paddy Jackson, a try, a conversion and a penalty. So Irish ahead in the East Midlands.
Irish becoming a really competitive side, Ollie, aren't they? I mean, they have recruited some really experienced players, the likes of Phipps, the former Australian scrum half, really doing the business there for Declan Kidney's men, and they are starting to ask some questions. They won't have ruled themselves out as top 4 candidates this season. Almost beat Bristol in a remarkable match a couple of weeks ago with an incredible comeback in the second half and bloodying the noses of the Tigers early on. Here goes Josh Beaumont picking the ball up wide on the right-hand flank. McGinty, AJ McGinty inside to Lou de Jager. De Jager surely will score, and yes he does. What a score for Sale Sharks. Josh Beaumont combining with AJ McGinty and Lou de Jager finishing in the corner. The 2 second rows involved out on the wide right. Incredible combination. Andrew Jackson just double checking this again with Trevor Fisher, but it's the dynamic second row, Lou Diaga, who looks like he's crossed for his first try of the season. We await confirmation from the TMO, but if so, it's Sale Sharks 12, Newcastle 0.
We're just checking the offload here, Chris, to make sure it's legal, and it looks fine to me.
It's okay.
McGinty's just got that out before he was pushed into touch by Munapola, and what a fantastic try this is, Chris. I didn't think McGinty had a chance of getting this to Lou Diaga, and the big second row collects the ball and goes over to score. What a fantastic try.
Well, last season, Ollie, and it seems like an eternity ago, Josh Beaumont scored a try away at London Irish, where he rampaged down the right wing and threw a dummy and went in at the corner. And his burst just now, as that try is indeed confirmed, reminded me of that break that he made at the Medeski Stadium last year. That was a try of his own. Tonight, it was to create the opportunity for AJ McGinty to then in turn move it on to Lou Diaga. But what a score this was for Sale, and it's 12-0 with the conversion to come.
McGinty was at the heart of it, wasn't he, Chris? He gave that first pass to Beaumont, and then he supported Beaumont down that right-hand side and got the ball back and gave the ball to Diaga, who went in to score. But you said about Beaumont, coming back from injury, that long injury, he was out for so long, of course, and he perhaps hasn't quite got back up to speed as quick as he would have liked, but a brilliant run there and a fantastic try for Sale.
McGinty then, 5 yards or so inside from the right touch line. Terrific start this from Sale Sharks tonight. The Irishman steadies himself, launches that towards the posts, and he's just pulled that across the front. It was close, but McGinty not quite able to add the extras, but it still represents an excellent point-a-minute start for the Sale Sharks. They lead Newcastle Falcons by 12 points to 0, and we've played 14 minutes.
Another message in on the socials, Chris. Erika Shamlin, start the game with a try by yard, conversion by AJ, means today's going to be a great day. Another Friday, another Sale Sharks rugby game. Let's go, lads.
Keep those messages coming in. I'm glad that we're improving your Friday nights thus far. Certainly been a brilliant start from the home side, but long way still to play in this one as Sale pick up a scrum for a knock-on, attempted burst forward as Newcastle try and come back into things, led by Tom Penny, coming to nothing. But as you say, Ollie, just to come back to that second score, it really was an outstanding offload by AJ McGinty. The timing of the pass and the execution of the pass to release it unsighted out the back of his hand to Lou Diaga really was something special. But terrific to see Diaga having the presence of mind and the fitness to be up on the shoulder of the Sale fly half to finish it off. A coach's dream night, and they're winning the battles across the pitch. On that occasion at the scrummage, Newcastle penalised for driving across at the front. That one going against Logo Mulipola on the tight head. So good start there for Bevan Rodd. But once again, it was the confidence of McGinty running out of defence with ball in hand, and then a little grubber through which Marlon Yard managed to chase. McGinty playing with lots of confidence at the moment as Sale move upfield, and we'll have the throw into the line out, 15 metres or so inside the Newcastle half.
That battle at the scrum is going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Chris? Logo Mulipola, obviously such an experienced player, played for Samoa, obviously ex-Leicester, won the Premiership with Leicester, and then you've got young Bevan Rodd, who's another one of those players who you could argue could be Sale's player of the season so far. So I'm really looking forward to that battle up front.
Off the top from Beaumont, and Sale are off and running once more. The back line this time isn't quite so fluid, and Sam James has to check and kick the ball through. Marlon Yard giving chase, but no real prospect of him getting there first. And this time it's Sale who infringe for offside. First time really that there's been a bit of a misfire of the Sale back line, and it's going to be a Newcastle penalty. Sam Hill looks like the offender. Yes, it was. Yeah, Sam Hill, just looking at the replay, running a decoy line which obstructed a potential tackler, and that's going to relieve the pressure for Newcastle and give Brett Connon the chance to launch the Falcons back into the Sale half, from which they will have the resulting line out around 10 metres outside the Sale 22.
Well, Newcastle need to try and get into this game, don't they, Chris? They haven't really done much so far. Sale have had a lot of the possession, and Newcastle have struggled to get anything going. They've got this line out here, and I'm sure Dean Richards will want to see this drive go in and try and pin Sale back a little bit, but it's been all the Sharks in this opening 18 minutes.
George McGuigan's throw goes to the front of the line out. It's well secured, but Lou Diaga is in and sacking Louis Schroeder to the floor. It will, though, be a Newcastle scrum, knock-on given from the line out as McGuigan's throw came in, and as the challenge came in on Schroeder by Lou Diaga. Diaga penalised for knocking the ball out the hand of Schroeder. Maybe a bit harsh, that, I thought, Ollie.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure he knocked that one on, Chris. I'll have to try and see the replay again, but slightly harsh there on Lou Diaga, as you said, in a scrum here for Newcastle and a decent attacking opportunity. But as we've said already, they haven't really got going in this game, but they'll need to get something going here.
Approaching the midway point then in the first half, 19 minutes on the clock. Sale Sharks 12, Newcastle 0. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, Marlon Yard and Lou Diaga, the men who have crossed for the Sharks. AJ McGinty converting the first of those two tries. The second try, an absolute peach from Diaga as he finished off a move started by Beaumont and continued by AJ McGinty. We'll reset this scrum with a Newcastle put in.
Just while we wait, Chris, some more messages on the socials. James Booth, take about AJ McGinty. Tom Owens, this is the rugby we all want to see. I knew we had clinical offloading attack in us. Been a fantastic 13 minutes.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, James. And please keep all your messages coming in through the socials tonight. I know we've got Rob Stones listening out in Montreal tonight. Great to have listeners around the world, so keep telling us where you're tuned in to Sharks Live. It's always fantastic to know how far we're reaching as Dan Dupree challenges in midfield, but Newcastle are making some decent progress here as a battle at the breakdown ensues between Diaga and Matthias Orlando. Orlando, the Argentinian centre who played in their famous victory over the All Blacks just a few months ago. A regular for the Pumas, playing at 13 tonight for the Falcons. They're going to need a big game from him, you'd think, with a bit of a mountain to climb already in this game. Sale are yet to have to really meaningfully defend inside their only 22-metre line, as it's been they who've had much the brighter of the first quarter, as an attempted kick over the top from Conlon is charged down by the ubiquitous Diaga, who really has been absolutely everywhere for Sale tonight. Tackling, winning line-outs, scoring tries, putting in big hits in midfield. Lou Diaga, well, Ollie, it might be a week on since the Exeter match, but this is exactly the same Lou Diaga that we've seen a week ago. He's everywhere.
Well, he could be on the way to another Man of the Match award, couldn't he, Chris, based off what we've seen so far. As you said, he's been absolutely everywhere, making a nuisance of himself in defence. As we break here for an injury, we'll try and update you with who that is. But a magnificent start from the South African second row, and you really feel like he's added something to this Sale team. I know earlier in the season Sale had a few injuries, but players are starting to come back now. Ben Curry's not far away. Manu Tuolangi could be back in the next couple of months, and the more you can get these players back, the more you can then rotate to more quality players. So it's definitely a positive for Sale, and the signs are good, aren't they?
Well, the whole intensity of the Sale performance as we have a break. There's an injury to Trevor Davison, the Newcastle loosehead prop. Sale have really suffocated Newcastle in this first 20 minutes, Ollie. There's been no real opportunity for Louis Schroeder or Brett Connon to really dictate terms at half-back. We haven't seen the backs really have a chance to stretch their legs. Sale's defence has been so sharp, so intense, so flat. Newcastle just haven't had an opportunity to really punch any holes, and I can hardly remember, apart from the two restarts, the ball being inside the Sale 22.
No, I think you're right, Chris. Newcastle just can't get into this game at all. And Dean Richards said earlier in the week, this is the kind of game they need to be winning if they're going to get in the top four, but they don't look like winning this one at the moment. It's been all Sale, and Sale have got another attacking opportunity here at the scrum. Faf de Klerk in the centre of the field. Sale have got attacking opportunities, attacking men either side. AJ McGinty stood directly behind the scrum, and a good chance here for Sale to try and add to their two tries already.
Don't forget, at half-time tonight, we've got a competition where if you know the answer, you will enter a draw to win a signed Sale Sharks Women Away rugby shirt. So stay tuned at half-time as Sale have the better of that scrummage, but Andrew Jackson not happy that it's gone 90 degrees, so that'll be a reset rather than a penalty coming. But once more, Sale more than competitive in the tight. This was an area that wasn't fully functioning earlier in the season, but Bevan Rodd, Curtis Langdon and Will Griff John have become the preferred front row for Alex Sanderson in the early days of his reign. And certainly thus far tonight are more than competitive in the tight. Faf de Klerk will have the put in then. 22 minutes on the clock. Sale Sharks 12, Newcastle Falcons 0 at the AJ Bell Stadium. And a free kick coming to Sale from that scrum. Faf de Klerk takes it quickly, hurls it wide to Marlon Yard. Typical invention from de Klerk. On this occasion, though, the pass was at such a speed that Yard just couldn't get there. Idea brilliant, execution on this occasion not quite right. It'll be a Newcastle line out.
Yeah, the idea was right, wasn't it, Chris? It was a fantastic long pass, but it was just a little bit too much on it. Perhaps not fantastic, not the right phrase used there, Chris, but the right idea, wasn't it? Faf de Klerk is going to try that. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to accept it, and on that occasion it didn't.
Line out then to Newcastle. George McGuigan with it, trying to make sure he secures possession, and he does that with a solid throw to the front, and Marco Fusa, the Italian second row, ensures possession for his side. Schroeder launches the ball upfield, decent distance on that kick, but Marlon Yard can field it and returns it with interest off his right foot. Up the middle that one goes, and Tom Penny can field it for the Newcastle Falcons. Man who spent the second half of last season on loan at Harlequins, takes them up to the halfway line. Schroeder turns one way, then the other, sees a bit of space, but only manages to pick out Marlon Yard with his kick, and once more Yard kicks downfield. We've seen Yard kick on 3 or 4 occasions in the early stages of this game, and the kicking game continues with the ball returned to de Klerk, sitting deep. De Klerk looks up, launches the Gary Owen with Luke James chasing it. Good chance for James to get on the end of this. He goes up with Tom Penny, knocks on, and referee Jackson will bring us back for the infringement. Looked to me like the knock-on might have been from James, but we're going to get an update on the Opta stats thus far in this game. Colin McKevitt has been keeping an eye on those.
Thanks, Chris. I just had a little bit of a technical problem there before, and I've actually got it now, and I'm looking at the stats and I'm confused. But it looks like 58% to Newcastle and 42% possession to Sale, if I'm looking at that the right way around. Yeah, which is very interesting, actually, considering the score is what it is.
And I think you're absolutely right, Colin, that you're seeing the correct stats. Newcastle have actually had more of the ball, but haven't been able to do anything with it. It's been Sale who've been super clinical every time they've got within distance of the Newcastle line. But the one thing Newcastle haven't been able to do, Colin, with that possession is to turn it into any territory, because we've seen that Newcastle have had 0.0% time on the ball in the Sale 22.
They're just all in that 10-metre area just before their own half there, Chris, by the looks of it. And just absolutely, as you said before, that clinical work of Sale Sharks. As soon as they get it, it's there. And I'll take a look at some more and I'll let you know when I've got them.
Thanks, Colin. Colin McKevitt keeping an eye on the Opta stats for us on Sharks Live tonight. Fascinating, Ollie, to have that lens.
Definitely, Chris. We want to add everything to this coverage, and perhaps slightly surprising that Sale have had less possession, but we are seeing it a lot now, aren't we? Eddie Jones said it during the Autumn Nations Cup last year. Teams don't really want the ball, and, you know, is that good for rugby? I'm not really sure, but that's just how it is.
Fascinating dynamic, isn't it, to the modern game, that teams sometimes don't want the ball and often can win games with far less of the ball. But I think anyone who's been here thus far in this game tonight will have said Sale have been thoroughly on top, even though they've had 42% of the ball against Newcastle's 58%. Newcastle have been able to do nothing with it. Sale's defence has been so good and their pressing has been so intense on the Newcastle back line. But here is some relief for the Falcons, because it's Sale who have infringed at that scrum on the Newcastle 10-metre line, and that's going to give the Falcons a penalty and a chance to move the ball from inside their own half, potentially somewhere towards the Sale 22. Ollie.
Yeah, I think it was Bevan Rodd penalised there, Chris, not driving straight. He had looked as if he'd got a bit of a push on Logo Muller-Pola, but he was penalised in the end, and Newcastle might finally be able to get up into the Sale 22. This kick from Conan taking them just outside it, but they really need to get going here, don't they, Newcastle? 14 minutes to go in this first half, and as Colin just said, they haven't been inside the Sale 22, and their attacking structure just isn't there.
So George McGuigan is going to try and kickstart the attacking flair of the Newcastle backline. Winners last Saturday, the Falcons. They beat, admittedly, an under-strength Harlequins at Kingston Park. They'd actually had 3 weeks without rugby before that, after some coronavirus postponements, but Newcastle were back to winning ways at home last weekend, but thus far tonight they haven't been able to progress as Faf de Klerk is upended in midfield. A strong challenge from Matteo Carreras, which Alex Sanderson had his arm raised about. I wasn't sure whether Sanderson thought that might have been illegal, the tackle that was made on de Klerk, but de Klerk was up straight away and is once more burrowing at the bottom of a ruck in readiness to launch another high Gary Owen, and here it comes. Marlon Yard sprints in from his left wing, collides with George McGuigan and hits the surface. And Tom Penny, who's been very solid under the high ball so far, and he's had quite a lot of practice at it, brings Newcastle back to the halfway line. Schroeder waits on halfway. Red boots on the South African scrum half, who attended the Paarl Gymnasium School, very famous rugby school in South Africa, which has produced many internationals, Schalkberger, De Wet Barry, Schroeder and others. Newcastle on the attack as they almost venture into the Sale 22 with ball in hand for a rare visit. Here's Callum Chick getting into the 22 now under the challenge of Will Griff-John. Conan. The ball slung wide to Ben Stevenson. Stevenson, we know, has got pace. He beats McGuigan, doesn't beat Sam James though, and Sale's defensive line remains solid. Just outside the 22, Davison rumbles forward there. Loose head prop. Once a beer delivery man, now very much a full-time rugby player, Trevor Davison, but he's brought to deck through illegal means. Curtis Langdon is penalised, and this is going to give Newcastle a kickable penalty if Brett Conan wants it, inside the Sale 22.
Andrew Jackson just saying to Curtis Langdon there, Chris, that the tackle was complete when the ball came free. I think that might be slightly harsh on Langdon. I'm not sure it was on replay, but that's what Andrew Jackson is given, and a chance here for Newcastle to finally get some points on the board.
Well, Brett Conan does decide he's going to have a go at the post, which I think makes good sense. Very kickable penalty this, only about 10 metres or so to the left of the left-hand upright, and very kickable for the Irish kicker. No Toby Flood tonight for the Falcons. He's got a knee problem. The man who scored the last gasp winning try up in the northeast back in round 2, but he doesn't feature tonight for the Falcons, who've also doing without Mark Wilson on international duty with England in the training camp, and Gary Graham, Scotland international flanker, who has a shoulder problem which he incurred playing for Scotland in the Six Nations. But Conan has the chance tonight to get the first points on the board for Newcastle. A couple of metres inside the 22. Conan looks at the posts with his orange boots on and starts his run up now. Strikes the ball right-footed, and up go the flags of assistants John Meredith and Jamie Leahy. Newcastle are on the board as we hit the half-hour mark at the AJ Bell. Sale Sharks 12, Newcastle Falcons 3, and here again is Colin McKevitt.
So I'm just taking a look at, compared to last week's offload game that Sale Sharks were playing, the lots of offloads. 2 offloads to Sale, 5 offloads to Newcastle Falcons. It seems to be that Falcons are trying to run at Sale Sharks. Metres gained, 98 metres Sale Sharks, 70 metres Falcons.
Thank you, Colin. Newcastle gaining more metres then and offloading the ball more, but Sale who've had the lead, and that was the first time really that their 22 was meaningfully breached. Alex Sanderson, though, I'm sure will want to try and maintain the early momentum. And Sale scored their first 2 tries in the first quarter of an hour, not added to those points in the next quarter of an hour, as Newcastle just start to get a bit of a toehold in this game, kicking that penalty and competing with a bit more parity across all dimensions of the game as Curtis Langdon prepares to throw for Sale, just a couple of metres inside the Newcastle half. Visa or Diaga the targets. Diaga becoming increasingly the banker throw from a line out, takes that in the number 6 position, giving the chance for the forwards to form a solid driving maul around him and try and get some momentum, but Newcastle's defence is super solid. Jackson, though, with a blast on the whistle, penalising John Hardy for coming in from the side as that maul developed, and that's going to give Sale a penalty just inside Newcastle territory and the chance to potentially kick deep into the 22.
Well, most of last season, Chris, we spoke about the struggles of the Sale line-out. Akker van der Merwe not really doing particularly well in that area, but Curtis Langdon's come in and he's really made the hooker position his own, and the Sale line-out has improved so much. It helps that you've got Lou Diaga in there. It helps you've got Josh Beaumont back from long-term injury. It helps that you've got the likes of JP Dupree and Cobus Visa, but the Sale line-out is now an area of strength, and I don't think we thought we'd be saying that 6 months ago.
Absolutely. It was one of the areas that we talked about last season on Sharks Live that needed to be tightened, and it absolutely has been, and that man Lou Diaga rises highest in the Manchester evening sky to take another Langdon throw from that line out, and Langdon himself then joins the back of the driving maul which forms just inside the Newcastle 22. De Klerk spins out the back and pops it short on the crash ball to Sam Hill, looking to drive up the middle, and it's going to be a Sale penalty. Sam James is down. I think James might have been obstructed as Sam Hill made that burst through. We'll just have a look at the replay here.
Mateus Orlando, Chris, I think, taking Sam James without the ball. Trevor Fisher did have a quick look at it, but nothing more than the penalty.
It's a strange decision that from Orlando, wasn't it? Because it wasn't like there was a dummy thrown that he might have thought, well, that ball's destined for Sam James. It never looked like going close to Sam James, and yet he tackled him like a tackle bag in training.
Cheap penalty to give away, wasn't it, Chris? And it gives McGinty an immediate opportunity to reply to that Brett Connon penalty, and Sale just to build that lead back up a little bit more after those 2 early tries. But as you said, a bizarre decision from Orlando to commit to that tackle. Not really sure what he was looking to do. Sam James wasn't offering a threat unless he thought James was going to get the ball and run it in score, but from there that didn't seem possible, did it?
Like you say, it's a very soft and cheap way to give up 3 points that had been hard earned a few minutes ago at the other end of the pitch. But McGinty can add to Sale's lead here. Looks like pretty much a banker just outside the 22, very central, and McGinty can steady himself. No real wind to try and be aware of here for the Sale outside half. Starts his run up to this penalty kick now. Strikes it right-footed, and it's absolutely regulation as he kicks the ball over the posts and over the stand behind it. 3 more points to Sale Sharks. That returns the lead to the 12-point buffer they built early in the game. 34 minutes on the clock at the AJ Bell. Sale Sharks 15, Newcastle 3.
Just an update from down at Welford Road, Chris. Half time there. Leicester have got themselves back into this one. It's 13-all between Leicester and London Irish.
Thank you, Wally. Good tussle there then in the Midlands between Leicester and London Irish. Both sides all have aspirations of a top 4 finish as we move into the second half of the season. This is the midpoint in the campaign tonight. Every team had played 11 before this evening, so it's the halfway stage. And apart from Worcester and Gloucester, who are tailed off at the bottom, probably every other side will think, well, a strong second half of the season and we could make the top 4.
Feels weird to only be at the halfway point in March, doesn't it? Usually it's by Christmas and we're into the second half of the season.
It certainly does, Ollie. The season ending, of course, with the Premiership final at the end of June this year. And then we might get back into some sort of normal kilter with next season, presumably to start in September. But as you say, Ollie, still a lot of rugby to be played as we reach the first week in March, rather than thinking this would be normally about the 3/4 point. as Newcastle pick up possession just inside the Sale territory. Sale leading by 15 points to 3, 4 minutes till half time at the AJ Bell. You're listening to Sharks Live with Ollie Lathrope and myself, Chris Malaband, as Sale try and take themselves up to second place in the Gallagher Premiership table tonight. Schroeder launches the up and under for the visiting Falcons. Up goes Bevan Rodd to try and take the high ball. It's all a bit sloppy. Dan Duprier can't get there. Schroeder digs it out from scrum half. Pops it short to John Hardy. Hardy makes a small gain, and Newcastle try again to find some progress through Matthias Orlando, but once more Sale's defence pretty solid, but Andrew Jackson penalising the Sharks for offside, and this will give Newcastle another penalty halfway between the 10-metre line and the Sale 22 central. Very kickable, and that's exactly what Brett Connon is going to do.
I think at 12-0, Chris, there might have been some slight expectation that Sale would go on and win this one comfortably, but as we've seen throughout this season, Newcastle were no mugs coming up from the Championship. No sides really are now, are they? Bristol came up a few years ago and did excellently. London Irish did the same last year, and now Newcastle this year. There really is no whipping boy in the Premiership, not of the days of London Welsh anyway, who famously lost every game that one season, but Newcastle certainly acquitting themselves well here, and a chance again for Brett Connon just before half-time to cut that Sale lead.
So this just to the right of the posts, but again Connon will fancy himself here. Takes a look at the sticks, the Newcastle fly half, product of the Newcastle Academy. And he strides forward now and right-footed strikes that, turns away and passes his kicking tee to the assistant. And Brett Connon keeps Newcastle very much in touch here. 15 points to 6 with 2 minutes to go at the end of this first half. And AJ McGinty can launch the restart into the Newcastle 22. Callum Chick is able to field it. But Sale win the penalty at the breakdown. It's yet again Newcastle concede a penalty, having just got themselves back into the game. Callum Chick brought down, and once more Lou Diaga in with a really strong challenge. Chick not able to release it, and Sale winning that battle at the breakdown. Some key moments coming Sale's way. Bevan Rodd coming up with the ball, and Rodd once more showing his value in the loose, working with Diaga to secure that ball and ultimately to win the penalty. Another very kickable one, Ollie, for AJ McGinty. I'll come to you in a second. Let's just go to Colin for some more stats.
Sorry to interrupt, Ollie. I'm just looking at those penalties and where they're actually taking place on the field, and they all seem to be within the middle of those two 22s. So the teams themselves, Newcastle, haven't gone past that 10-metre line. All of it seems to be going, the disciplines within the middle of the park, and in those danger areas they're not giving away as much.
Certainly been a game played in the centre, hasn't it? Hasn't felt like there's been lots of attacking opportunities in the 22 as McGinty just converts that penalty.
Yes, aside from the Marlon Yard try inside 3 minutes, Ollie, it's been about the only time we've seen the ball really spun wide, hasn't it? As you said, I think you could almost have taken 15 metres off the two touch lines and still seen probably 80% of the play.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. It's been a funny old game, hasn't it? Last week felt a little bit end-to-end at points, whereas this one has been a far more mellow affair. I think Sale will be happy with that. Obviously leading 18-6 at half-time, and they just need to make sure they don't muck up this restart, catch the ball and kick it off the field.
Into the red zone then we go at the very end of this half. 18 points to 6 is the Sale lead, and exactly to Ollie's point, as that ball is thumped straight off the park by AJ McGinty. That is half-time at the AJ Bell Stadium. So Sale Sharks off to a flyer in this game. Marlon Yard scoring in the corner in the 3rd minute. AJ McGinty converting from the touchline, and Lou Diaga then really with the champagne moment of the half, with a try in the 13th minute, Josh Beaumont's break down the right, inside to AJ McGinty, and McGinty with an ingenious ball out the back of the hand to Diaga in support, enabling the big South African to cross for his first try of the season. Since then, we've seen 2 more McGinty penalties, 2 in response from Brett Connon, leaving us at half-time. Sale Sharks 18, Newcastle Falcons 6, and I guess, Ollie, one of the questions really will be, having gone into a point-a-minute lead and being 12-0 up in no time, will Alex Sanderson be slightly disappointed that his side weren't able to continue with that vein of form in the rest of the half?
I think a little bit, Chris. Sale haven't quite managed to continue on that good early form that they found, but Newcastle have responded well. They're a good side, as you said. They beat Harlequins last week, a Harlequins side that were going well in the Premiership, so I don't think I'll be too disappointed. It's just about picking back up that momentum in the second half that they'd built early on. And there's some subs on the bench as well. You've got the likes of Rafi Quirk, who made a decent impact last week, Cam Neild, who was good last week as well, so plenty of reinforcements to come, but I think Alex Sanderson will be relatively happy.
Thank you, Ollie. Now, we've got a competition for you on Sharks Live this evening to win a signed Sale Sharks Women away shirt. So this was a competition we did try and initiate during the Sale Sharks women's commentary last Saturday against Harlequins. And if you're listening to Sale Sharks Live tonight and didn't know, we do cover all the Sale Sharks women's matches at the Corpac Stadium for when they are in action, and we're next back there on the 20th of March for the match against DMP Sharks, and we're able to show you all the pictures as well as the commentary on the games that the Sale Sharks women play. And we've got a Sale Sharks women's shirt available, as I say. Lauren Baker and James Booth are 2 names already in the hat, but if you want to add your names to the 2 folk who got our question right during the coverage last Saturday, then you need to answer this question and to put your answer in the chat as to whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube or Twitter. So put your name and your answer on the chat, and the question is this. Will Cliff, the Sale Sharks scrum half, has also played for another team in the Premiership, but which one? Will Cliff, the Sale Sharks scrum half, has also played for another team in the Gallagher Premiership, but which one? If you know the answer, then put your answer in the chat on YouTube, Twitter or Facebook. Carrie Morris in our Sharks Live team will keep a record of everyone who gets it right. We'll then have a draw at the ground at the end of the game, and if you're the winner, you will win the fully signed Sale Sharks Women away shirt, and we'll get that posted off to you as soon as we can this week. So good luck. Which club did Will Cliff appear for, apart from Sale Sharks, in the Gallagher Premiership?
Sounds like a really tough question. I reckon Ollie might know the answer to that question. I bet. Do you know the answer to that question, Ollie?
I do, Colin, yes.
Good. Okay, Ollie has the answer to that. Listen, just a couple of quick shout-outs at home. Tom Owens. Apologies if we've already done this. Tom Owens, this is the rugby we all want to see. And you had a clinical offloading attack in us. Been fantastic 13 minutes. That's always coming through a little bit later. Anyone else loving this game? Amazing tries, both of them. Steve O'Ford, come on, Sale. Let's keep this pressure and pace going. Let's go Sharks. Coming from New Zealand. Hello to you. Yes, great stuff. Right. I'm not going to say that one. Okay. Comments, please. Keep them coming in. Keep your score predictions coming in. We're going to take a little look now when teammates. That's it. The teammates. Sorry, you'd think I'd have done the research for this one. Great. Denny and Manu. Here we go.
It was solid. Cut.
I don't think there's any debate. Sam James.
Yeah, it's too easy, that one. Danny. Definitely.
It's hard.
Oh, Aka.
Aka would be a good one. He's forever scaring you.
He literally, it comes out of nowhere. Gives you a heart attack.
Marlon Yard. He literally will rock up 2 minutes before the end time that you're meant to. So let's say we have a meeting at 9, he'll rock up at 8:58. If he could get away with 8:59, he would.
We actually got his debit card now. So it's easy.
Literally. It'll be after props, eh? Either Valerie or Will Griff, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And me.
Yeah.
And
And myself
me, Will Griff.
is in good shape for a prop.
Yeah. Oh, you hurt.
Hey, you're in good shape, Denny. Lad. What are you now?
Shut
106,
up. You see,
108?
biggest joker here, mate. Faf.
Yeah, 500%.
I think he washes his hair about 5 times during the day. Luscious locks, but yeah, biggest diva, Faf.
Oh, I'll let
100%
Denny,
me,
I'll let
100%.
Denny ask this one. I wasn't going to say anything.
No, okay. I think I'll back myself, but I think coming close second.
I'd back myself as well, but it's no good.
Coming close second, Aaron Reid. He is rapid.
He is pretty quick.
But yeah, horse Byron will have a lot to say about that. But I think he's the slowest winger.
Horse not going to be happy about this,
Yardy's definitely so I think it goes Yardy, Byron, Tom Roebuck, Aaron Reid, then me.
Horse not going to be happy, yeah.
he's going to text me now. Oh, has to be captain, innit? Captains are always the coach's pet. Or Fuff, because he's got long blonde hair.
I have no idea, to be fair.
Yardy. Oh, Yardy. I'm stitching this guy up 100%. Yardy. If you ask him, he's apparently the rugby union version of Marcus Rashford. So, I'm not saying anything. Well, that's the word around the block, is that he is the wannabe Marcus Rashford of rugby union. Worst drinker. Oh, Skip. 100% Jono. I think he has about 3 pints and he's done for.
Faf as well.
Oh, yeah, Faf.
Faf goes hard.
Yeah.
He goes hard early.
Yeah, they can drink themselves silly, yeah.
I just sit in the corner, play some chess.
Oh, I'd say, yeah, Jono, the twins.
The 2 twins, Curry.
Jeepers,
and,
yeah. Denny.
You know, if you have a hat on, no one can see what
It's
your
this
hair.
guy.
I'd say Johnny Leota. He's a barber, by the way.
Yeah, he cut his hair as well.
He's really good at haircut, just can't find a good barber to cut his hair.
Oh, mate, yeah, so, yeah.
And Yardy. Rowan.
No way.
He's a deep thinker.
Yeah, he is deep.
Deep thinker.
Book smart, I'll probably have to say Beaumont or Simon Hammersley. Just knowledge-wise, all round, probably me, myself. Yeah, just
Is that
a great bloke
book
as well.
smart or street smart then?
Street smart, mate. Hey, don't need books, mate. Don't need books. Albert Einstein didn't go to college, did he? Look at him. Richard Branson. Yeah, see?
Richard Branson?
Just Samoan version, isn't it?
Is that the most wanted bloke?
He was solid. Cut. Okay, yeah, next question. You would have had some roommates in your time, eh?
I think I'm probably the worst.
Why?
I don't sleep.
You don't sleep?
Yeah. Like I sleep really late, and I try not to wake my roommate up, and I snore.
No, I'm gonna stitch myself up here. So I had Sam James as a roommate, but I snored the house down. He had to go to the beach to get away from me and I think he had a nap on the beach. His missus texted me, goes, "Denny, you're the worst sleeper ever." So I'll stitch myself up and say I think I'm the worst roommate.
Probably.
Ooh, Ross Harrison.
Yeah.
Ross Harrison. He does all the stuff you don't see. I think he's the first one to get here, last one to leave. On the pitch, he does all the things supporters don't see.
Yeah.
He just all around he works hard.
Top bloke.
Great dude.
There we go. Great insight to the teammates there, giving each other grief as always. So a big shout out there to Mark watching. He says he prefers watching Sale Sharks live to watching London Irish v Tigers anyway, which is great. Some big shout outs coming in from New Zealand as well. So if you are abroad and you're watching us, please give us a tweet, give us a shout, let us know what's going on. Please share the stream as well. We'd love to hear how you think the game's going so far and what you'd like to see in the second half. Penalty count, Ollie, Chris, a lot lower than last week in the first half as well. So there's promising signs to look at our discipline. It's looking pretty good, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's a key area for Sale to work on, Colin. We've said earlier in this season it's been something that has cost the side at times, and it will be something I know Alex Sanderson is going to have to ensure that he instills through all the training sessions and all the meetings they have at Carrington in the run-up to a game. And you've got to judge the moment. You know, we saw with England last week against Wales, continually giving away penalties and not reading Pascal Gauzer's reading of the breakdown. And I think that's about really having that rugby brain to sense, how is this match being refereed? Can I go in? Can I compete for that ball on the floor? Have I got to step back? And thus far tonight, Sale, I think, have had a good read of how Andrew Jackson is refereeing the breakdown.
So I'm just going to give bring a little stat in. We were talking a little bit about Lude before at the half time, weren't we? And just take a little bit of a look at Lude. 2 defenders beaten. Lude is making lines, he's making breaks, and it is all going to come around him. Now, if we can get more of that going on, those offloads, I'm sure, are going to come, Ollie.
Oh, he's been brilliant this last game and a half, hasn't he, Colin? Since coming back from that injury. He came off the bench against Quins. Sal didn't play particularly well that day, but he was superb against Exeter last week. A deserved man of the match performance, and he's doing the same again tonight. I think he would be the man of the match so far in this game. He's been brilliant. But it's what you'd expect from a Rugby World Cup winner, isn't it?
But he's a Rugby World Cup winner, Ollie. He's had a very severe shoulder injury. And John O'Ross said to me in the post-match interview last week, I said to Lude, you're going to come back a better player. And I think last week, we saw that. I mean, he's almost 2 players in one. He runs like a number 8. He had the game awareness to be right on AJ McGinty's shoulder for that second try. Yet he gives you total dominance in the line-out. And he's just a massive presence. So I think last season we had so little chance to really see Lude Diaga before his injury. This is the first time that we've had a chance to see him in Sale colours, and what a player he is.
Not only that, he's making his tackles. He's defending. He's doing 9 tackles. You've got Dan Dupree's. He's doing his tackles. That back 3, that back line is doing their job in that breakdown area today.
Oh, definitely, Colin. The Sale forwards have been on top throughout most of this. Josh Beaumont's playing well. Also, that nice little offload for the try. So I think Alex Sanderson, Dorian West will be delighted with how the forwards are going.
And what we're seeing, Ollie, now is second rows in Diaga and Beaumont almost playing like the top international second rows. And of course Diaga is exactly that, which is to be so dynamic round the park that it's much more than just about being a good scrummager and a good line-out ball winner. You're bringing tackling and you're bringing link play as well.
It's been like 2 new signings, hasn't it, Chris? Certainly with Lude Diaga. Like you said, we've barely seen him, and in these last 2 games he's been excellent. He's brought a new energy to this Sale team, and the Sale fans will be hopeful we can continue to do so in this second half. And this second half is about to get underway here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Sale going from left to right, leading by 18 points to 6 after 2 tries in that first half, and a chance to build on that here and push for that bonus point score as AJ McGinty gets us underway. A kick into the Newcastle 22. Again, Lude Diaga there to make the tackle. Newcastle will have to play much better in this second half if they are to get anything from this. And Louis Schroeder with the box kick. Into touch, and it will be a Sale line out on the halfway line.
Decent clearance kick from Schroeder there at the start of the second half, just making a clean exit, getting the ball back into the Sale half. But opportunity for Curtis Langdon at the beginning of the second period. We've got Akker van der Merwe back on the Sale bench tonight, Ollie, so I'm sure he will get some time late in the game. But Langdon continuing to get really strong Premiership experience tonight.
Langdon's line out is a successful one to De Jager again in the South African, shepherding things in that line out. Sale up to the halfway line. Faf de Klerk looking to take this ball off the back from Curtis Langdon and tries a dummy, and he's tackled well. Is the South African scrum half, and Sale just inside the Newcastle 22. Newcastle half, sorry. And we'll come back for the penalty. Newcastle coming in at the side of that maul, and a chance here for Sam James to push Newcastle further back inside their own half.
Yeah, and I think it will be Sam James probably to try and kick down that left touch line and move Sale into a decent position from which to launch a line out, probably just outside of McGinty's range, being on the halfway line, and it's very wide as well, so I don't think there's an option to kick to the post. Just a quick shout out for Guy Wills, who's joining the coverage from New Zealand. Guy, great to have you with us. So much appreciate anyone getting in touch who's watching from abroad. Martin van Rensburg watching from Cape Town in South Africa. Thank you, Martin, for getting in touch. And a shout out for Steve Stones, who's in a cold but sunny Montreal. Enjoy, Steve.
Sale with this line out just outside the Newcastle 22. Curtis Langdon ready to throw in. Sale leading this one by 18 points to 6. 2 tries so far for the Sharks, and I'll look to add to this early in this second half. De Klerk loses possession there, and it's gone forward. Newcastle will have the scrum. De Klerk probably got a little bit overexcited there. Already had the ball in his hands, in his mind, before he caught it. You could see he was running towards the on-rushing Newcastle defence, and he wasn't able to take the ball in. A frustrating moment there for Sale.
Yeah, unlike De Klerk, because Sam Dugdale had done well, and decent enough pass from Dugdale to try and find him, but everybody's human, even Faf de Klerk.
3 minutes into this second half. Sale Sharks 18, Newcastle 6. If you're just joining us here on Sharks Live, Sale with 2 early tries through Marlon Yard and Lude De Jager. And since then, AJ McGinty and Brett Connon have exchanged penalties. Sale could go second in the Gallagher Premiership tonight with a win. But this time it's Sale penalised. Just a free kick for now. I think it might have been Bevan Rodd not driving straight, and Brett Connon can try and give Newcastle some territory, and he sends this one straight down the middle of the field, straight into the hands of Marlon Yard. He gives it to Luke James, who kicks this one back into the Newcastle half. Some kick tennis early here in the second half. Come back to AJ McGinty this time, the American international, with a slightly lower kick, and an effective one from McGinty, and Connon sends it back with interest. To McGinty again, he tries the kick this time straight back to Connon. The two fly halves exchanging kicks here.
Wonder when this is going to end, Ollie, don't you? Just number 10 to number 10.
The forwards are just running back and forth. Both sets of forwards don't really know what to do here, as Connon finally takes the ball under a bit of pressure, and he does well to evade the on-rushing Faf de Klerk, and it's Newcastle in possession inside their own half, and that looked very forward into the hands of John Hardy, but referee Andrew Jackson says it was fine, and Newcastle play on. Orlando in possession. Newcastle on their own 10-metre line. Falcons with some possession early in this second half. A good tackle there from Sam Dugdale. Still the Falcons with the ball. Callum Chick driving up this time, and is slightly slow from the Falcons in Louis Schroeder. Be happy to box kick this one away. Faf de Klerk waiting for this one inside his own half. A relatively comfortable take for the South African, and he gives it to McGinty, who tries to break the tackle of Rob Farah, but he can't do so, and Sale in possession on their own 10-metre line.
I think AJ McGinty spotted a gap there, Ollie, didn't he? Almost got through it, but good tackle from Rob Farah, because it was another de Klerk rocket of a pass, spotting McGinty with a chance to try and thread the needle. He just couldn't quite get through.
Dan Dupree carrying in for Sale. Slow ball for the Sharks. And there's a penalty this time to Newcastle. Sale not releasing. It was Luther Burrell over the ball. Good work there from the England centre, and Newcastle might finally be able to get deep inside that Sale 22. They haven't really managed to do so far. Luther Burrell getting over the ball well there at the ruck. Not usually known for his acumen at the breakdown, but he got over the ball there, and there was nothing really that Sale could do at that ruck. And Brett Connon not choosing to go for the post here, and can Newcastle finally get their line out going?
Yeah, first time really I think Alex Sanderson will have seen an incident at the breakdown there and have a sense of frustration. As you say, Ollie, good work from Burrell, but with Diaga with support around him and Sale in possession, that really was a situation where I'm sure Alex Sanderson would be expecting Sale to come up with possession, and now some defending to do on their 22.
A good line out from George McGuigan, and Newcastle getting a good initial drive on here up inside the Sale 22, still searching for their first try of the game. McGuigan at the back of that more. Sale have done a decent job of slowing that one down, but Andrew Jackson has given Newcastle an advantage, and not the best pass there, but we will come back for the penalty. Sale trying to pull that one down, and the visitors will get another chance here to kick this one into touch and get a line out even closer to the line, should they choose to opt for the line out, as we have a short break in play here. But just going back to that breakdown there, Chris, we saw last week Jack Yendall got red carded for rucking someone out shoulder to head when he was trying to push a jackler out of the way, and Luther Burrell was in that same position now, and I wonder if that's now in the players' heads who might try and clear a jackler out.
Well, I think the proliferation of red cards we've seen in the Premiership over the last few weeks, Ollie, have probably led to a number of discussions in team talks and training camps about trying to ensure what you do at key moments is really thought through. And it is, of course, so difficult because it's so instinctive when you're at the breakdown in rugby union. You're trying to win the ball back, and as John O'Ross was saying to us post-match last week, you play on the edge all the time, and Ben Curry was backing that point up. So players have got a nanosecond really to decide, am I going to compete for this or not? And if I'm going to compete, how am I going to compete for it? But I think you're right. I think there will be probably an emphasis this week and in other games about players really contemplating how they challenge at that breakdown in the light of all the red cards we've seen in recent weeks.
Frustration there for Newcastle. A good attacking opportunity with the line out about 6 metres out, but Logo Mullapola knocking that one on from an organised move. And I do wonder there, Chris, if after the success of the initial drive from that previous line out, whether Newcastle should have just kept things simple. But I suppose if it goes right for you there, you're happy, and those mistakes can happen. So a slightly disappointing moment there for the visitors, and I'm sure Dean Richards will be frustrated with that. And just another update from Welford Road. Some game down there. Leicester Tigers now leading by 23 points to 18. So a bit of a turnaround. Leicester going okay under Steve Borthwick. Obviously struggled the last couple of years, but the former England second row starting to get things in check down there, and that would be a big win tonight could they hold on against London Irish.
They certainly seem to be a club who are coming off their knees, don't they, Ollie? Leicester Tigers, really bad couple of seasons, but as you say, Borthwick starting to turn them round and getting a bit of momentum, and a decent game developing there. And as you say, back to this incident here, having Mullapola, the tight head prop, running round on the peel. I know he's a man who likes to run with ball in hand, but always perhaps a little bit of a gamble to use a prop forward in such a key position in the field. Newcastle haven't threatened the Sale line too often, and to cough up easy possession and now to cough up a penalty from the resultant scrum really is a soft exit from Newcastle's perspective, and I'm sure will be mighty frustrating to their whole side.
Another scrum penalty there for Sale. It's been quite a tussle in the front row. We mentioned it in our pre-game show, didn't we, Chris, about that battle in the front row, and I think Sale have got the better of it so far, and that'll be some relief to Dorian West, because Sale's scrum this season has been a real weak point. And just as we speak about the scrum, it looks as if there will be some front row reinforcements for the Sharks. Aka van der Merwe, Ross Harrison down there waiting to come on, along with Cam Neild. So we'll let you know when they come on, and it looks as if it will be now. So 3 changes for Sale.
And 1 for Newcastle. Michael Young, the scrum half, comes on for Louis Schroeder, whose shift is done. So Young, with all his experience, 32 years old, Premiership winner in his days at Leicester Tigers, he gets his chance. And a good shift from Sam Dugdale again. Cam Neal taking over at open side flanker. A hard-working performance there from Dugdale.
Aka van der Merwe back in the Sale side for the first time in 2 months with his first throw at the line out, and Sale pushing up in this more on their own 10-metre line. A decent drive, as we said earlier. Sale's line out has been excellent this season, and van der Merwe still in possession, but he's been pushed into touch. A real win for Newcastle there. The initial drive from Sale was a good one, but they've eventually gone into touch, and van der Merwe won't be particularly happy with that. He got the throw in right, but that Sale Mall pushed towards the touchline.
Yep, definite benefit to Newcastle there. Just an eye on the socials again. James Spencer's been in touch. He says, I can see my seat. It looks lonely. Yep, yours and about 8,000 others, James, inside the AJ Bell tonight. But I'm sure you'll be reunited with it soon, hopefully in May.
Can't wait to get you all back to the AJ Bell. Hopefully for that Bristol game at the end of May. Newcastle in possession inside the Sale half. Sale Sharks leading by 18 points to 6 here on Sharks Live. 30 minutes to go in this one. A kick over the top from Conan, and Luke James comes back and calls for the mark, but it was a Newcastle penalty advantage, and Sale penalised for offside there, and perhaps an opportunity here for Conan on the Sale 10-metre line to try and cut that gap.
Yeah, it's very central, this, and you'd think if Conan was comfortable with the distance, an opportunity to go for the sticks. Looks like Michael Young in discussion, and it will in fact be an attempt at goal that is taken by Brett Conan. Just a couple of other shout outs from people in touch on social media, and please keep all the messages coming in. Archangel Michael sends greetings from Queensland, Australia. Thank you very much, Michael, for getting in touch with Sharks Live early on your Saturday morning there. Good to have you with us. Thank you, Michael. And Martin van Rensburg, listening in South Africa, says, Sale Sharks, simply the best.
Great to hear you all listening around the world. I know we get lots of shout outs in our women's games. Great to see you all watching and listening to us wherever you are around the globe. As Brett Conan is about to step up for this penalty. A couple of Newcastle replacements waiting to come on. Jamie Blaymire and Mark Tampin, so some reinforcements in the Newcastle front row as soon as Conan has kicked this penalty. It's very straight, so we shouldn't have any issues there, but it is of a fair distance, so not the easiest kick for Conan. Can he cut that Sale lead? A little stutter there as he stepped up, but it looks a good kick, and it's over, and Newcastle get the first points of this second half. They cut that Sale lead to 9.
So I'm just taking a look, Ollie, at the increase in metres gained by either seed, and it's got the rate of that has dropped incredibly. It is in the air. There's not much metres being gained at the moment. The game has slowed down. And what's interesting about that, though, is Lude has an opportunity here to gain yards and get those offloads in. We're not seeing it materialise like we did last week.
Well, as Colin says, this game has been a bit of a scrappy one, really. Sale scored those 2 excellent tries early on, but since then, not much has happened. It's been a real forward-orientated battle as we see Diaga in the midst of things there, and Newcastle forced back inside their own 22, and Michael Young setting up for the box kick. The Newcastle replacement scrum half, and Luke James under this one, just inside his own half, gives it to Dan Dupree. He runs that one back, and Sale up to just shy of the halfway line. Jamie Blaymar's over the ball here, and he's eventually rucked off it, and Faf de Klerk gives the box kick, and Conan coming forward, but he's knocked that one on, maybe no, backwards. Referee Andrew Jackson saying Conan knocked that one backwards, but Sale are in possession, and McGinty tries a little crossfield kick. Byron McGuigan is after this one, and can he grab the ball? And he does, but just as he takes possession, the Scottish international is pushed into touch by Tom Penny. The right idea there, Chris, from AJ McGinty, and Byron McGuigan wasn't too far away from making something happen.
No, it was good execution again from McGinty. Good to spot that Byron was available. Just no room in the end for Byron to really work with as Tom Penny came across. But absolutely to the discussion that Colin raised. I mean, we've now gone 40 minutes of play since that excellent Lou Diaga try, when we've just seen a trading of penalties. 3 from Conan successful for Newcastle, 2 from McGinty for Sale. So important for Sale, if they can, to really up the ante in this game, try and inject a bit more pace into it and try and get themselves over the whitewash again, because another try soon and 25-9 is a heck of a long way back for Newcastle. But Sale at the moment struggling to find the momentum that we saw from them in the opening quarter of an hour.
We spoke before the game on Sharks Live about the importance of bonus points, and I think at one stage Sale looked almost nailed on for that try bonus point, but for now they're forced to wait, and Newcastle inside their own 22, carried in by Rob Farrer. Michael Young shepherding the forwards and looking to set up for the box kick here. Sale Sharks 18, Newcastle Falcons 9. If you're just joining us here on Sharks Live, Young with the box kick looking for the touchline, and he finds a pretty good touch finder from the scrum half, and it'll be a Sale line out midway between the 22 and the 10-metre line in Newcastle's half.
The Sale players, Ollie, will be only too aware of that match up at Kingston Park early in the season. It became very much a kicking battle. It was not a great game of rugby from a spectator's point of view, and ultimately Sale lost out by a very narrow margin. And having led this game from the kickoff and had a bit of a margin all the way through it, they'll be conscious of the fact they need to keep taking this game away from Newcastle. Get another score now, it's a long way back, but if Newcastle kick another penalty, 18-12, still very much anybody's game. So important phase of the game we're moving into now.
A nice little set play there from Sale. Luther Burrell complaining about something, not quite sure what that is, but Newcastle are back in possession now. A mistake there for the Sharks, and we're coming back for the penalty, and time off here from referee Andrew Jackson. I think we might be checking a ruck out from Will Griff-John. He came in with the shoulder, and we could potentially have another serious situation on our hands here. So Will Griff-John came in with the arm. Definitely foul play. Trevor Fisher confirming that one, and the Sale tighthead could be in some trouble here. So we look at this again. It was Luther Burrell tackling Sam Hill. He was slightly high. Will Griff-John coming in, certainly coming off his feet. The question is, has he wrapped the arm, and has there been a connection from shoulder to head? And from this angle, Chris, it looks as if Will Griff-John could be in some trouble here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not dissimilar to the Jack Yendall incident last week. My read on it was it's John's shoulder into the shoulder come ribs of John Hardy. I think it'll be at least a yellow, but I think the fact that it's shoulder into ribs type territory might save John from a red card, but it's certainly fairly reckless. He's coming in at pace.
Trevor Fisher just confirming that. It's going to be a yellow card for Will Griff-John. I don't think he can have any complaints there, and there'll be some relief from the tight head that he didn't connect with the head, because, as Chris said, Jack Yendall sent off for a similar challenge last week, and players really do need to be more careful now, don't they, Chris?
Well, yeah, and it's just what Sale didn't need. We were saying it's an important phase of the game. Another Sale score, and it's probably out of Newcastle's reach. But Newcastle chip at this lead with a penalty or two, and it's anybody's match. And now Sale are going to have to get through 10 minutes with only 14 men, and it's not an ideal scenario for Alex Sanderson's side. So this 10-minute sin-bin period, Newcastle will know is their big opportunity to really force their way back into this.
Discipline, of course, has been a real issue for Sale this season. Club captain John O'Ross not playing tonight because of an accumulation of yellow cards, and I'm sure that's something that Alex Sanderson will be looking out for as the season goes on. And Newcastle successful at that line out just inside the Sale half. A good initial drive on, and is another penalty advantage to Newcastle. How often do we see it? Penalties in quick succession, and the Falcons will be able to push their way even further into the Sale half. But for now, they go wide, and they've got a bit of an opportunity on the outside here. Penny running towards the Sale 22, tackled well by Sam Hill, but Newcastle up inside that Sale 22. A big chance here for the visitors. Hardy carries in this time. It's a man over the ball for Sale, but will come back for the penalty. Aka van der Merwe did well there at the ruck, but we're coming back for a penalty from the maul earlier on, and slightly sticky patch in the game for Sale at the minute.
Yeah, it's gone against Lou Diaga for losing his binding at the maul. So Lou Diaga, having not put a foot wrong in the first 40 minutes, has had a rather different experience after the interval, conceding a couple of key penalties for Sale. So the Wheel of Fortune just turning against the South African World Cup winner a bit. And opportunity here for Brett Connon to push Sale back into their 22, give an opportunity from the line out for his forwards to get on the end of a Jamie Blaymire throw in and to put more pressure on Sale. So this is an awkward little period now for the Sharks. Just a shout out to Ranny05, who says hello to everyone from Germany. Hello, Ranny. Good to have you with us. And hi to Martin Barringer, who spotted that the word Sale has been written in marker on the match ball.
A scrappy line out from Newcastle and is collected by Dan Dupree. A real let off for Sale there. Be some relief amongst the Sharks players, and Faf de Klerk clears this one inside the Newcastle half, and it's come back on a Sale side, but unfortunately Cobus Wiese has knocked that one on. It was a brilliant box kick from Faf de Klerk, and Sale getting away with a little bit there, pinned back inside their own 22 after successive penalties, but the line out throw from Jamie Blaymire wasn't a good one, and Sale got the chance to kick that one away, and be some relief in the Sale camp, I'm sure, as Kearney Oosthuizen comes on here, replacing
Cam Neild.
Cam Neild, of course, because of the yellow card to Will Griff-John. Of course, Sale needing to bring on a tight head so we can complete this scrum. 22 minutes to go in this one. Sale Sharks 18, Newcastle Falcons 9. If you're just joining us, it's been a scrappy game so far. Sale scoring 2 early tries since then. AJ McGinty and Brett Connon exchanging penalties. Go to Colin.
Yeah, we just take a look at the possession statistics now. You know, nearly 60% possession to Newcastle here. This is Sale Sharks are letting them run at them. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Sale Sharks can take advantage of Newcastle running at them if there's going to be mistakes to be made. Sale Sharks need to take advantage of that. They're being given an opportunity to turn ball over here. They should be trying to do it.
The breakdown, as Colin mentioned, such a interesting part of the game. Teams not necessarily wanting to play with the ball, and I think Sale in games like this, when they don't have Ben Curry, when they don't have Tom Curry, really miss having that jackler on the floor. He's a very good back row, but it's perhaps not the most breakdown effective back row. A lot of big ball carries, which is great, but perhaps Sale do miss that jackler on the floor that they don't have with Ben Curry injured and Tom Curry away with England. Ben Curry not too far away now from coming back from an injury, and Faf de Klerk doing really well there to stop Callum Chick at the back of the scrum. But Newcastle are breaking through here, and Young evades the first Sale tackler, and Newcastle up to just shy of the Sale 22. Young spots a little bit of a gap and he breaks into the Sale 22. Newcastle with a real opportunity here. They need quick ball. Peterson out to the right hand side, and it's not the best pass, and Orlando forced to clean up, and Newcastle have been forced outside the Sale 22 now, but the visitors still with a really big opportunity. Sale down to 14 men. Little pop pass there to Trevor Davison. Young. Connon tries to find a gap, tackled by Lou de Jager. Newcastle go to this left-hand side, and the Sale defensive line is a good one, and they forced the Falcons back a little bit here. Good work from the Sale defence, carried up this time by Mark Tampin. Young again. Connon gives a pass to Davison. The Sale defensive line has been excellent, getting off the line quickly, and they force the Falcons back as Luther Burrell ties the dummy, but he's tackled by Josh Beaumont. The Falcons not really going anywhere here, and Peterson is again pushed back by Lou de Jager. Orlando tries a little kick over the top, but it's collected well by Marlon Yard in a really ineffective attacking phase of play there from Newcastle, and Sale have got this one back inside their own 22, and Alex Sanderson will be delighted with that. Down to 14 men, and already was 6 minutes into that sin-binning period. The Sale defence, as it often is, a real strength there, and Faf de Klerk clears this one away, but it's not gone into touch, and Connon can take that one. Stevenson on the ball this time. McGinty can't quite tackle the winger, and Newcastle in possession. Mateo Carrera this time. The ball's been in play for a fair while here. A big tackle there from Kovas Visa and Dan Dupree, the two South Africans combining really well, and it looks as if Michael Young will be happy just to kick this one away and try and get Newcastle back inside the Sale half. It's a high hanging kick, it's not really gone too far, and Lou Diaga down under the ball, he's been absolutely everywhere tonight. I know we've gone on about it a fair bit, but he really has been that good, and he comes down with the ball again there, but Faf de Klerk trying to get this ball out, and he returns the favour with another box kick.
Interesting that Sale are trying to keep the ball on the park, even when they're defending in a one-man short period. Sale backing themselves, and that's why, because of de Klerk hanging Gary Owen, chased hard by Marlon Yard. Sale backing themselves to win the battle of the breakdown, and that is a priceless penalty for Sale Sharks, which I'm sure AJ McGinty is going to have a go at the post for. One, because it's very kickable, and two, because it will probably run a minute off the 3 minutes that remain on the Will Griff-John sin bin. That was a crucial turnover. Sam James right in there as well with Marlon Yard. That might be one that we look back on in around about 20 minutes' time and say it was crucial to the Sale win.
Chris, I'm looking at the tackle stats just back there in that 22 when Newcastle were looking like they were getting close. Sale Sharks were able to push Newcastle back a good 15-20 metres. What's the difference is when you look at the tackle stats, 87 tackles to Sale Sharks, 41 tackles to Newcastle Falcons. Sale Sharks are doing well here because they aren't tackling beyond the man and they're pushing that man back. So the tackles that are being made are counting.
But double the tackle count, Colin. Sale putting in double the number of tackles that Newcastle have put in tonight, which sometimes, Ollie, leads us to a situation in the final quarter of a match where the team that had been doing the majority of the tackling starts to tire. So perhaps an ever more important role for the Sale bench, and I see Simon Hammersley getting readied as well.
Newcastle making a change. New Zealander Connor Collett on, replacing Rob Farah as AJ McGinty prepares to take this penalty. I'm sure he'll be eking out every second of the clock here with just over 2 minutes to go on this sin binning period. Of course, Simon Hammersley, a former Newcastle Falcon, leaving the club when they were relegated a couple of seasons ago, and it looks as if he'll be coming on once McGinty has attempted this penalty. Just to the left-hand side, not too far out. You'd expect McGinty to kick this one. Over 100 points already in this Premiership season. Only Marcus Smith with more points in the Premiership so far. The American international looks up at the sticks. Really allowing this clock to run down here. And he steps up. It looks a decent strike and it's over. And Sale, despite having not had much possession in this second half, extend their lead by 21 points to 9 as McGinty now leaves the field, replaced by Rob Dupree. Luke James also coming off for Simon Hammersley. Newcastle making a change of their own. Alex Tate, the experienced 32-year-old, coming onto the field.
Another great shift there from AJ McGinty, 64 minutes worth. He barely put a foot wrong. Fantastic offload to Lou Diaga for the try. Immaculate from the kicking tee, bar one missed conversion, but 3 penalties out of 3 and a conversion from the touchline from the Marlon Yard score, which seems a long time ago now, back in the 3rd minute. So Rob Dupree brought on, plenty of experience, and his job very simple, to game manage for the last quarter of an hour and see out this victory. 12 points the margin.
Darren Barry, the former Bristol second row, onto the field for Newcastle as both sides ring the changes. And it is interesting that Alex Sanderson seems much happier than Steve Diamond ever used to be about rotating his side, bringing people off the bench. We saw last week that Rafi Quirk came off the bench, and very happy to use his bench and allow his players the opportunity with this line out for Newcastle, just inside their own half, trailing in this one by 21 points to 9. 15 minutes to go, 30 seconds left on this sin binning period for Will Griff-John. I do wonder if we've seen the last of Will Griff-John anyway, and Cam Neild, who had to come off for Kearney Eusthausen, will be allowed to come back on in about 15 seconds time. But for now, it's Newcastle in possession. They've got a penalty advantage from that line out, so perhaps they could try a set move here. Luther Burrell tries a dummy and then gives a little pop offload wasn't particularly effective, but with the advantage, Newcastle can just keep possession and know they can come back for a penalty at some point. Young. Conan gives a pass to the left-hand side. Brilliant tackle from Faf de Klerk, but Newcastle keep this one alive. Burrell again. Tackled by Rob Duprea. And we will come back for that penalty. Another penalty at the line out. Newcastle have really got their driving maul going in this second half, and Cam Neild is coming back on here, as we suspected. I don't think we'll be seeing Will Griff-John again tonight. And a speculative kick from Brett Conan, but it's worked out pretty well. Newcastle up inside the Sale 22 now. Those risk-reward kicks, sometimes they can come off, and it certainly has done there, and Newcastle will have the line out inside the Sale 22.
Yeah, I think Brett Conan had to gamble there, and it was a decent kick. I thought that actually probably went out a little bit nearer to the corner flag than the touch judge John Meredith has adjudicated there, but Sale will have a line out to defend inside their own 22, and Newcastle probably think with about 14 minutes left on the clock and a 12-point deficit, they've probably got to get something out of this foray into the Sale 22. Don't forget, you can keep in touch with us on the social media tonight. Please put your comments in the comments box on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, and we'll give you a shout out. What are your thoughts? Are you confident Sale can see this one out, or is there going to be last gasp heartbreak against the Falcons just like there was in round 2 up at Kingston Park? Let us know here on Sharks Live as we wait and wonder if Sale are going to be able to see this one through and move themselves back up to second place in the Premiership tonight. Bristol will be out in front whatever Sale do, but Sale will move up to 36 points with the win, 37 with the bonus point, both of which will get them into second place. Can they do it? It's 14 minutes to see this out.
Again, the line out in the 22 is a poor one from Jamie Blaymire, and it's been overthrown, and Faf de Klerk will be able to clear Sale's lines. Newcastle have had a few chances in this second half to get that driving maul going in the Sale 22, but the line out throw has been poor and they've been forced back again, and that box kick is taken well by Michael Young. Newcastle are in possession just inside the Sale half. Slow ball for the visitors, trailing by 12 points in this one. Conan. Good tackle there by Rob Duprea. The Sale defensive line up quickly. It was Dan Duprea that time, and Newcastle have been forced back inside their own half. The up and under comes from Conan, and de Klerk tries to take that one. He's knocked on and it's coming to a Newcastle hand, and Jamie Blaymire bursting away, but his offload doesn't go to a Newcastle hand. I think it's gone backwards and Newcastle are still in possession. Orlando carried in this time by Fuser. Young out to this right hand side. Conan gives a long looping pass to the right, and Penny going towards the Sale line. He's tackled well by Simon Hammersley. Newcastle 5 metres out, looking for their first try of the game. Barry carries in. Young again. Fuser carries in again. Newcastle haven't really looked like scoring so far, but they've got the chance here, but it's knocked on. Connor Collett couldn't collect that one, and it just about sums up the Falcons' night. They've been competitive, but when they've got near the Sale line, it hasn't quite paid off. And we've spoken before, Chris, on Sharks Live about being clinical and taking your chances. Sale haven't done that in the past this season, but they've been the team that have done it tonight.
Yeah, frustration from a Newcastle point of view, because they've had, as you say, Ollie, various forays in the Sale 22 where a try might have been coming, but not able to take advantage. Let's get a latest statistical overview from Colin McKevitt.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the tackle count. The tackle count's huge for Sale Sharks. They're absorbing the pressure, and this is the difference now. If you can just stand there in your 22 and just take Newcastle, it's going to have to dishearten Newcastle after a while. That constant attack, Newcastle aren't getting anywhere. Sale Sharks are absorbing this, as opposed to Newcastle actually not being able to break down that defence. The defence is working very well today.
Couple of changes for Newcastle. Adam Brockelbank on in the front row, and Joel Matavesi, brother of Josh Itbath, of course, on in the back. So a last throw of the dice from Dean Richards as they try and get themselves back into this one. 11 minutes remaining in this Gallagher Premiership clash. Sale Sharks leading by 21 points to 9. Sale will go second with a win tonight. A second win in a row here at the AJ Bell Stadium after beating Exeter last week. It hasn't quite been as exciting as that thrilling victory over the Chiefs last week, but Sale won't be too worried if they can see this one out in the remaining 11 and a half minutes. And a little bit of needle there from that scrum. It will need to be reset. The scrum's been a competitive part of this game tonight. Replacements on now, so the likes of Ross Harrison trying to establish himself up front.
Andy Thomas has been in touch through social media. Good evening, Andy. He says, I get we've got 14 players at the moment. That was obviously just a few minutes ago when Wilgriff John was off, and I'd take the win for sure, but would like us to go for the corner and push for the try BP. Thank you very much, Andy. Well, 2 tries scored by Sale tonight. Got to score 2 more in the next 11 minutes to get that try bonus point, but I think first and foremost Alex Sanderson will just want to ensure his side win this game. Not quite over the line yet. 12 points the gap as Rafi Quirk limbers up on the bench. Looks like he's also going to get another go late in this game as he did this time last week when he was able to help secure that victory against Exeter and shut the door as Sale win a penalty.
Faf de Klerk at the back of that scrum there was being rushed by Michael Young, and he does win the penalty, and it may well be de Klerk's last action of the night, as Chris said. Rafi Quirk warming up to come on for his 3rd Premiership appearance for Sale, keeping a very experienced operator in Will Cliff off the bench, so Alex Sanderson obviously rates Quirk as he comes onto the field now. De Klerk coming off, and Chris, has been a decent performance from Faf de Klerk. A couple of little funny moments, but other than that, he's had a good night.
Yeah, he was instrumental in the opening try for Marlon Yard, getting Sale off to a flyer, as he had done last week when his early industry put Byron McGuigan away in the corner, and almost important to get early momentum in a match, and that is what we've seen Faf de Klerk deliver this week and also last. But yep, a decent performance from the South African, but Rafi Quirk's responsibility now alongside Rob Dupree as the replacement halfbacks is just to control matters for the last 10 minutes and see this one through.
Sale losing their own line-out ball there, so Newcastle with the ball just inside the Sale half. Luther Burrell carrying in well, and the Falcons come to the left-hand side, but again the Sale defensive line is up quickly with Josh Beaumont. Newcastle searching to try and find something from this game at least to try would give them a losing bonus points, which would probably be just reward for their efforts, but they haven't really looked like breaching the Sale defensive line so far this evening. But they've got 9 minutes to do so, and they'll come again here through replacement Matavesi. There's a Sale man over the ball, and it's a turnover. Aka van der Merwe, so good. Is a jackler over the ball, almost like an extra back rower in the loose. And a bit of chat there from Newcastle when Sale marched 10 metres further forward, and I think Rob Dupree will be very happy to go for the post here, Chris.
You don't see that too often nowadays, do you? Referees marching penalties forward 10 metres or so for back chat, but Andrew Jackson absolutely in no doubt to do that on that occasion. Clearly frustration from a Newcastle Falcons perspective as they concede their 10th penalty of the night, exactly the same number as Sale Sharks, and we know that's the yardstick really that coaches use to say we don't want to concede any more than 10 penalties in a game. Well, both of these two sides have hit that marker with 8 minutes to play. But if Dupree lands this, Ollie, and it's very kickable, then 24-9 takes Sale 15 points away. That's 3 scores. And you'd think this really ought to seal things if Dupree can land this one with just 7 minutes or so to play.
Just a reminder to get your answers in to our question that we asked at half-time. If you didn't get that question, the question was, which other Premiership club did Will Cliff play for? So if you know the answer to that, get your answers in and you could win a signed Sale Sharks women's shirt. And Rob Dupree's kick is successful, and the South African extends Sale's lead to 15 points. It's Sale Sharks 24, Newcastle Falcons 9.
Josh Beaumont taking a break there, and JP Dupree coming on. Good effort that from Dupree, Rolly. Always hard if you come on as a kicker late in a game. You've got no chance to really adapt to the match, and you're thrown on with a kick that's at a crucial time in the game, but Dupree absolutely solid there, nailing that down the middle.
Sam James takes that kick-off, but it's charged down and the ball spirals towards the Sale line, and Hammersley forced to cover, and his kick away goes straight into the hands of Michael Young, and Young can run this one straight back at Sale, and Newcastle are inside the Sale 22. Orlando at acting scrum half. Chick carries in. Orlando again at scrum half. Connon. Newcastle forced back a little bit again there. The Sale defensive line has been very quick tonight, and they come to this left-hand side, a long looping pass out to Connor Collett. Newcastle trying to find something here. Even a converted try here wouldn't get them within losing bonus point territory, so they do need 2 scores, but the Sale defensive line is good again. Aka van der Merwe doing well there. He's had a good game since coming on, and Mickey Young finds a little gap and he breaks into the Sale 22, and it'll be a try here for Joel Matavesi. It was scrappy at the back of that ruck, and Michael Young found a little bit of a gap, and he gave the pass to Joel Matavesi, and Newcastle have got a little bit of glimmer of hope here. Matavesi reducing the deficit to 10 points, and they might yet be able to get something from this game, Chris.
Well, Michael Young has looked a real live wire since he's come on, Ollie. He's got a sevens background, as we know, although some time ago, and he's really sniped in and around the breakdown area and at the back of the scrum. And Sale were under pressure there ever since Sam James's kick was charged down, and that really does give Newcastle a lifeline. They probably needed to fight straight back after that Dupree penalty. They've done that. They've got a conversion coming here that's going to be a formality for Connon. So 24-16. There is still work to do for Sale to secure the victory here, and the lead is going to be down to 8 points with 5 minutes to go, although there is a double check on the try between Andrew Jackson and Trevor Fisher in the TMO office.
Just checking this try from Joel Matavesi. As Chris said, Trevor Fisher communicating to Andrew Jackson that there could be an issue. I think they're looking for a knock-on from Michael Young at the back of that ruck. The spill possession almost led to the opportunity. We're just trying to see if this was a knock-on. The on-field decision was try. So it does need to be...
Trevor Fisher, and they're going to stick with the try.
I think we'll be sticking with the try here. So Newcastle do get that score. A simple conversion for Brett Connon, and they reduced the arrears to 8 points. They still need to find something here to get a losing bonus point, but it would probably be a deserved one if they could find it with 5 minutes to go. And Sale just need to settle the nerves here from the kickoff, Chris. Nothing too extravagant, and just try and hold on in this last 5 minutes. Sale players walking up slowly to this kickoff in absolutely no rush to get this one back underway, and Rob Dupree with a pretty good kickoff and is scrappy from that kickoff, and it's fallen into a Newcastle hand eventually. Marlon Yard got quite near that ball, but it is the visitors in possession. It's Young again feeding his forwards. The replacement scrum half has been excellent since coming on, and despite needing some more points, he may try and clear this one away. He will, setting up for the box kick. But Lou Diaga quick off the line again, making the tackle. He's been excellent again. I know we've said it all night, but he really has. And Newcastle have been pinned back here, still needing some kind of points to get a losing bonus point. Sale Sharks leading by 24 points to 16 here on Sharks Live. 3.5 minutes to go. Sale looking for another victory here at the AJ Bell Stadium, and they're well on the way to that. Is Young goes for the box kick. There's a Sale hand on it, I think, so if this goes into touch, it will be a Newcastle ball. But Simon Hammersley takes possession, and Dan Dupree runs this one back. Sale just past the Newcastle 10-metre line, and they will get the penalty, and Rafi Quirk takes this one quickly.
Well, that was a bizarre decision from Rafi Quirk. I don't know why Rob Dupree didn't just step forward and kick that, because at least it would have run the clock down. But anyway,
Sale just shy of the Newcastle 22. Can they add a third try here? Quirk, Dupree with a long pass to Byron McGuigan. He tries to beat Connon, but Connon does well to tackle. Sale now inside that Newcastle 22. Quirk again. Dupree. Sale searching for a third try. JP Dupree gives a little inside offload to Cam Neild. Quirk used the backs this time. James with a pass to Hammersley, and he's got Yard outside him. Can Yard try and find a third try here? He's bursting towards the line and gives a little pass back on the inside to Simon Hammersley, and Sale do find their third try. It was a little burst of pace from Marlon Yard, and he gives it back inside to Simon Hammersley, who scores against his former club, and Sale extend their lead to 29 points to 16.
Well, what a dream moment for Simon Hammersley against his former side. Hammersley popping up once more to cross the whitewash for the second time this season. Sale stretching a Newcastle defence that had been torn in their attempts to keep attacking, chasing at least the losing bonus point, but that is absolutely secured the match for Sale as they take the lead out to 13 points. The conversion to come and just 2 minutes to play, and possibly a bonus point if Sale can get across again in the last couple of minutes or so. But I'm sure Alex Sanderson will just be pleased with the win, because it's been hard fought tonight, but Hammersley showing all his experience and his nous to be on the shoulder of Marlon Yard there to finish that one off.
Not quite sure why Rob Dupree is taking so much time over this one. Sale looking for that bonus point. As the clock runs down, it gives them less time to try and score that fourth try. I thought he'd just want to kick this one off and get things going again.
Yeah, I suppose if the mentality is to chase another try, then you'd have thought Rob Dupree might have a go at that one. The time has been stopped by the TMO. I can hear the dialogue between Andrew Jackson and Trevor Fisher, so we've got 1 minute and 20 seconds to play.
Just another commenting, Chris, from James Booth. Lude has been immense again tonight. To come back after a big injury and play like he has against Exeter and Newcastle is next level, and I can't agree with you more there, James. Lude Diaga has been just superb, and we said it at half time, it's been like a new signing having him back on the pitch, and Sale will need to keep him fit for the second half of this season. Is Rob Dupree converts that conversion, and Sale have a minute here to try and find a bonus point try.
Really good kick from Rob Dupree, Ollie. Absolutely solid, 2 out of 2 from the South African, and we've got a minute left on the clock, so Sale are going to win this game. Can they get a fourth try bonus point rather? 31 points to 16 then, the Sharks, as we move into the last 60 seconds or so, but it's 4 points in the bag. Can it be a fifth?
Sale playing from their own 22, and Hill gives a long pass to Yard, a good step from Yard, and he tries to beat the initial tackle, but he's eventually gone to ground. Sale playing from deep inside their own half here, looking for that bonus point try. Diaga with a little pop offload to Cobus Visa, but Newcastle have got over the ball here, and it's a turnover, and it's come into Young's hands. Can Newcastle have the last laugh? 20 seconds to go here at the AJ Bell Stadium. Sale will win this, but can Newcastle try and find a late score? Connon tries the crossfield kick, and Stevenson was chasing after that one, but it's gone straight into touch and will come back for the penalty. Newcastle won't be able to get a losing bonus point from this one, but can they try and find some pride late on? Sale will win this one by 31 points to 16. And Chris, whilst we wait for this final play, a little bit of a look ahead to next week. Northampton coming up, a trip to Franklin's Gardens, and it's so close in the Premiership. If you can build a little bit of a run come the end of the season, it's going to be important, isn't it?
Well, it is. There's a lot of rugby still to be played. This is match 12 of 22, so 10 more for Sale after this one. This will take them up to second place in the table, at least overnight, with most of the rugby to be played tomorrow this weekend. But Franklin's Gardens, a tough place to go. Sale victorious there last season, of course, but Chris Boyd's side have been reviving a bit in recent weeks. So of course, it's another tough game, but this is a hard job well done tonight by Sale. Not always at their best, but they're going to get over the line here. They've started well, they've finished well, and they're going to be collecting 4 points in 30 seconds or so.
It's a fair few Newcastle men in this maul. Mateus Orlando in there, Luther Burrell as well, and they'll use the backs this time. Matavesi, the try scorer, drives up. Sale are going to win this game here at the AJ Bell Stadium, but Newcastle trying to have the last laugh, and it's turned over, and perhaps Sale can try and find something, but they are deep inside their own half, and Cam Neild runs this one back, and he's got McGuigan on his outside, who gives a little kick through. Hammersley and McGuigan chasing after this one. Taken well by Connon. Newcastle in possession this time. A frantic ending to this game. Both teams wanting to keep the ball in play, but it is close to this left-hand touchline. Newcastle with the ball just inside the Sale half. Chick carries it in. We played about 5 minutes into extra time last week, and could we see something similar again tonight? Conan, Burrell, a pass out to the right-hand side to Orlando. And he beats Yard, and Orlando bursts up into the Sale half, a little out the back of the hand pass. It didn't go forward, and Newcastle somehow scramble and keep possession. Conan again on this left-hand side. A pass over the top to Connor Collett.
It always reminds me of kind of school PE, Ollie, when the PE teacher says, play again till someone scores.
Winning try?
Exactly.
Last try wins, I think it's called, Chris, isn't it? Anyway, and Orlando tries the long pass this time, and Marlon Yard at one stage looked as if he could be going for the interception, and we're trying a bit of champagne rugby here, and Newcastle could have the last laugh, and Orlando gives it back to Young, a pass from Young to Alex Tate. A lot going on here, neither side wanting to give up the last laugh, and Newcastle have got some numbers on this left-hand side, and is intercepted by Byron McGuigan. He gives it to Cobus Vita. Can Sal find that bonus point? But no, it's intercepted. What a moment that would have been.
This is like end of season 7s, Ollie.
And Newcastle come running back. What a brilliant ending to this game. It's not been the most exciting of 80 minutes, but this last 3 minutes has been superb, and Newcastle still in possession. And what will happen here? There's 15. No, we know who's going to win, Chris, but we don't know what's going to happen in this last however many minutes are left. And a little bump off from Luther Burrell, tackled by Byron McGuigan.
Credit to Newcastle here, because even if they score and convert, they still can't get a losing bonus point, but they're determined to try and score a try rather than say, let's just write the night off, guys, and make sure no one picks up an injury at the end. Fair play to the Falcons.
Well, it'd be very easy just to kick this into touch and deny Sale a try bonus point, wouldn't it? So,
absolutely.
As you said, fair play to Newcastle for carrying on here, and that offload hasn't quite worked, and Sale have on the ball here, and it needs to go to the left-hand side, but Lou de Jager has knocked it on, and that'll be the end of the game. A frantic end to a interesting night of rugby. Sale started so well with that try through Marlon Yard. Lou de Jager scoring another a few minutes later. Brett Connon and AJ McGinty trading penalties before a late try from Simon Hammersley and a couple of penalties from Rob de Prier, and Sale have emerged Victoria, Chris.
Well, as you say, Ollie, a bit of a curate's egg of a game, an explosive start with those two excellent Sale tries in the first 13 minutes. Wonderful score from Lou de Jager, a pretty good finish from Marlon Yard, then an exchange of penalties taking us up to half-time, and it became a bit attritional, and that continued really in the third quarter of the match. But then Sale, when they looked like they might be coming under a bit of pressure, managed to see out that sin-binning of Will Griff-John, and then Rob de Prier's penalty taking them away by 15 points. Matavesi's score then suddenly giving Newcastle just a glimmer with 5 minutes to play, and then Simon Hammersley saying that's enough of that and really sorting things out with a couple of minutes left on the clock and putting an end to Newcastle's resistance. So a game that Sale led from start to finish, a game where they always had a decent sized lead over Newcastle, but never really shut the door until Hammersley had the final word against his old club with a couple of minutes to play. But a hard fought victory, 3 more tries from a Sale point of view, so positives there from an attacking point of view, though no try bonus point. And Sale up to second place, Ollie, after 12 games. That's a blooming good place to be.
Absolutely, Chris. And after that defeat to Bath, the defeat to Harlequins, I'm sure there would have been some soul searching in the Sale camp, but they've come back the last 2 weeks and had 2 good wins over 2 very good sides. Exeter last week, of course, against the reigning and defending Premiership champions, and then beating a tough Newcastle outfit who have probably outperformed expectations this season, but Sale were too good for them tonight, and as Chris said, move up to second in the Premiership. Just a result from elsewhere at Welford Road, and it was a real close one in the end. Leicester Tigers 33, London Irish 32. So
what a game.
Steve Borthwick's side just edging out Irish there, and their mini revival continues, and we should be sure to get some reaction soon from Colin McKevitt. But before that, I believe we can do our competition, Chris.
Absolutely, yes. We've seen the 2 results on the field tonight. Sale Sharks winning this game by 31 points to 16. Leicester Tigers beating London Irish by a single point at Welford Road. But the final result of the night is to know who is going to win the Sale Sharks women's jersey. And we've got Stuart Ledger in the competition, John Taylor, Lauren Baker, Dave Reynolds, James Booth, Billy Ackland, James Spencer, Andy Lathrope, Sharon Kerr, Stephen Pulford, Martin Barringer and Jack van der Steen, Chris Meller as well, and I think I've covered everyone. And Carrie Morris from the Sharks Live team has got an excellent spinning roulette wheel with all your names on her laptop. She's going to press the button now and we're going to tell you who is the lucky winner of the Sale Sharks women's shirt, and it's congratulations to Sharon Kerr. Well done, Sharon. You correctly identified tonight that Wilcliffe's other Premiership club was the Bristol Bears. Wilcliffe having 2 spells here at Sale, but punctuated by time at the Bears in the middle. So well done to Sharon Kerr. Carrie Sharon will DM you through whichever of our social channels you entered the competition tonight. And Carrie will tell you, Sharon, how to get in touch with us so we can get your address and pop this excellent Sale Sharks women's shirt in the post to you, signed by all the team, including Katie Daly-McLean, one of the all-time greats of women's rugby, named in the World Rugby Team of the Decade, and Sale Sharks is outside half, and her signature is prominently on the middle of the jersey as well as the rest of the squad. So well done to you, Sharon.
And I believe Colin McKevitt has got Byron McGuigan.
Thanks very much, Ollie. I do have Byron with me. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Great defence. Forget about the last 5 minutes when that went in through, but the defence was brilliant. You seem to absorb a lot, take advantage of that, and get some great tries and some great points. What's your prognosis?
Yeah, I think we obviously started the game really well. Quite happy going in at half time with the lead we had. And in terms of our defence, the last couple of seasons we had the best defence in the league. Something we hang our hat on. There's put a lot of pride into that. And look, teams are trying to find a way to break us down, and we're overcoming obstacles in the game, which is good to see. But yeah, it was a challenge we looked forward to, and so we're glad for the win.
We were looking at the stats throughout the game as they grew and developed, and it seemed like you were able to absorb a lot of that Newcastle meters that they would just keep hitting you. A huge tackle count, it was impressive. It must feel great to defend like that as a side.
Yeah, of course. Look, the best teams don't always play the flashiest rugby. Look at Saracens, look at Exeter, look at some of the most successful teams. They pride themselves on defence, and we're quite comfortable without the ball. We find our defence a weapon to get turnover ball, and that's probably the most dangerous ball to attack with. And I thought when we did get some chances, we looked pretty sharp and we executed really well, which was exciting. So
great to see Lude, that run that beyond the gain line stuff is what we want to see, isn't it? That drive forward ball, we've seen a lot more of that. It seems really good to see.
Look, I can't give Sanderson enough credit. He drives good standards, gives the boys good themes. We believe in what he's saying, and it's exciting. He makes it really simple, really effective, clear message, and all we've got to do is come out here and execute what he teaches us during the week, and we managed to do that tonight, so we're happy.
Great result, great tries, great rugby to see. It was well deserved. Just a quick message for anybody at home, if you've got any messages. We missed the fans. We were talking about a year ago tomorrow since the fans were last in this stadium. That's a long time not to have fans around, mate.
Look, we miss the fans. It's great to play in a stadium with our Sale Sharks fans here. They really help us over the line, maybe to get that bonus point try. It's great to score. The energy that they bring behind us, it helps massively. People don't quite understand at home how challenging it can be sometimes. You've got to be so focused in this game. Sometimes it's a lot easier when the fans are there and that energy is just there given to us. We've got to pick ourselves up here, and that's the job of being a professional, but certainly the fans here help massively.
Yeah, I bet you can't wait. Listen, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate you coming to see us today. You better get in there and see those guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Ollie, Chris, great result for us, as you can hear it there. Yes, that is us. Okay. Listen, thank you very much for joining us here at Sharks Live. Keep the conversation going, as we always say. Let's have your comments, any questions. If we can catch hold of anybody else, we will. Keep it alive. We'll see you again very soon on a Sale Sharks Live.